pressure coming from behind, and that is intercepted by the Bears. Nigel Swift with the INT. He is heading down the sideline. One man to beat. Swift heading for the end zone, and he is in for a New York Bears touchdown.
Socrates, he's on the move, and they're going to look for Socrates in the corner. Touchdown!
Back on in, here's Yoxon. Yoxon with the backhand, trying to go to the front, makes the move and shot, and he scores! Rowan heading for the touchpad with the lead, and the props will take the men's 400-yard freestyle relay.
Sends one on goal, and he scores!
And it is a power play goal!
Pass, middle of the field, the catch is made by Britt. She's off to the races at the 40, the 30, the 20, the 10. Britt is in for the score!
Smith delivers, and that's hit back toward the mound. Weiss has it in short. He steps on second, and the ball game is over. Massapequa Coast has won the 2023 New York State Little League Baseball Championship.
Live from the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex here in Hillburn, New York, PDF Sports Network is proud to welcome you into coverage of the Elite Football Alliance. Tonight marks the 2023 season kickoff with the Empire State Demon Knights traveling in to take on the New York Bears. Hello, everyone. I'm David Pizzuto alongside Joe Foreman, and we are about a half hour away from kickoff here at Torn Valley for Season 6 of the EFA. Joe, welcome to another season of the EFA, and I guess we could start right there. We know the landscape of semi-pro football changes from year to year. We expect to see teams and players on said teams to move around, and the EFA is no different. Up until 2 or 3 days ago, the makeup of the EFA has been shifting, but we know two things at the very least. The race for a championship is wide open in 2023, and these two teams, we'd imagine, are going to be big factors in the race for a champion.
Well, first and foremost, Dave, it's great to be back on the call with you for the EFA after the PDF Sports Network debuted with the league's Kickoff Classic just over 1 year ago in the summer of 2022. We've grown a lot here on PDF since then, and I'm excited to get our first look at what changes the EFA has in store for us this year. Starting with what's familiar, these two teams, the Bears and the Demon Knights, were both playoff teams last season, and as you mentioned, both should likely be in contention for a league championship this year. However, these two teams and all of us here at PDF will get a look at three new teams as part of a recently formed partnership between the EFA and XEFL. Following 3 weeks of EFA play, the three-team XEFL will kick off their season on the weekend of September 9th. The three XEFL teams will play 4 games against one another and 4 crossover games against the EFA, while the EFA teams will play 5 games against one another and 3 games against XEFL opponents. Following the regular season, each league will crown their own champion, and those two champions will meet for one final game to conclude the postseason. Should everything run smoothly this year, this partnership could potentially lead to a merging of the two leagues in 2024 and beyond.
That's right, Joe. And the now 4-team EFA is without 2 of its teams from last year. The 2 championship teams, the Brooklyn Pharaohs and the Harlem Gators, having exited the league, while, as you see on your screen, the Bears, Demon Knights, Legion, and Bandits are all coming back. So this partnership with the XEFL certainly makes for some exciting football. And so credit to both leagues for making it work. I guess the sense, Joe, I get the sense, Joe, we'll be covering a portion of those crossover games, so we'll get a chance to see some of the new competition coming to the table in 2023. But, Joe, our focus is on the EFA, and look no further than the matchup tonight to see 2 of the central players this season.
Catching up with some of the key figures in tonight's matchup, we know the Demon Knights like to run the ball, and Empire State offensive lineman James Harris certain to be a big part of that. He joins Dave down on the field.
Here with James Harris, offensive lineman for the Empire State Demon Knights. James, first and foremost, the kickoff to the EFA season. A lot of excitement here, summer football. Tell me a little bit about the excitement heading into this one against the Bears.
It's going to be pretty good. we want this rematch since we played them last year. It was a tough battle. We have a whole bunch of new players this year, so we're just looking to execute on every cylinder.
Absolutely. And, last year in the EFA, you guys finished as semifinalists, came in fourth place during the regular season. The top two teams from last year are out of the league. The race is wide open for a championship. Tell me a little bit about the mindset of the team coming into this new look, kind of a season, and what the goals are for the team this year.
Well, the mindset's a little all over the place right now, but we're looking to just try new things because the team is a lot different than last year. We have a lot of new players since we lost a lot of people on the team. The mindset is just in the ground game, just to make the ground game stick out. Not really much more about that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. And speaking of ground game, you play on that offensive line, and everything starts in the trenches. Tell me a little bit about you personally, your mindset going in, playing center position, going off to guard at times. Tell me a little bit about what you want to do 1v1 against your opponent.
I just want to make sure the line is locked in all together. Make sure we know who we got instead of just like frantic, going all over the place, and everybody's losing their mind. But actually today I'm going to be playing left tackle actually today.
Okay.
But other than that, no,
Excellent.
this is.
Well, everybody here on the field is excited for this. So are we. Season over for the EFA. Good luck tonight and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you very much.
All right, you got it. That's James Harris playing the offensive line for the Empire State Demon Knights. Joe, we'll send it back up to you upstairs.
Great job, as always, Dave. And we shift our attention from the Empire State running game and offensive line to the wide receiver position and the defensive backfield. Wide receiver and defensive back A.J. Ray of the Demon Knights joins Dave now.
Joe, I am here with A.J. Ray of the Empire State Demon Knights, wide receiver, plays some defensive back as well. A.J., it's a long off season, especially when you fall in that playoff game against the Gators last year. Looking to get back to this day. Tell me a little bit about the excitement coming into a night like this.
Just putting a lot of work in the off season, practicing with the guys, putting in new schemes, getting ready to get back to the playoffs.
All right, and speaking of those new schemes, as a wideout and a defensive back, you're on both sides. Tell me a little bit about how playing wideout helps you as a defensive back and how playing defensive back helps you as a wideout.
Yeah, definitely. It literally just, the opposite side of the ball. So whenever I see defensive players going into different tendencies, I can feed off of that, having experience playing both sides of the ball, it helps, get the ball moving or, make stops on the other end.
Excellent. And, when people talk about the Demon Knights, they talk about the ground game. But this offense put up some pretty healthy passing numbers last year and a lot of big play potential. You're a big part of that. Tell me about how much you look forward to airing this ball out tonight.
Yeah, that's what we did a lot in the offseason. We worked on passing. Our quarterback's looking better than ever going into this beginning of the season. So, yeah, we're looking ready to get the ball moving.
And final question, your opponents tonight are the Bears. You know them well, obviously faced them a couple times last year. A couple of tough losses. The game at home came right down to the wire. Tell me a little bit about what they do well and what you guys have to do well to come out on top.
Yeah, they're a good defensive team. They stopped us well running the ball last year a couple times. It was definitely hard to get the ball moving against them. That's why we made it a point to work on the throwing game. So, yeah, they definitely play defense well. They got some big players on the offense as well. So we got to, strap in and get the defense on point.
All right, terrific. It's a pleasure talking to you. Good luck tonight.
Thank you.
All right, that was A.J. Ray, wideout and defensive back for the Demon Knights. Joe, we'll send it back up to you upstairs.
Thanks, Dave. And this time, Dave is going to make his way across the field rather quickly as we're approaching kickoff. He is joined on the opposite sideline by head coach of the Bears, Jason Walker.
I am down here on the Bears sideline with head coach Jason Walker of the New York Bears. And coach, first and foremost, a long off season for everybody in the EFA. Yeah. How exciting is it to finally get back out here? We got a beautiful night getting ready for the kickoff.
It's exciting. It's something I've been waiting for since October, honestly. But I'm glad to get back out here. We put in a lot of preparation for today. So I'm expecting nothing less than a W today. But just happy to be out here.
Absolutely. And last year during kickoff, you guys were kind of the surprise team of the EFA coming back after a 2-year hiatus. This year, not the case. You guys are almost been tabbed as the favorites coming in, obviously finishing as the third seeded team last year. How does that make you feel, and what's the mindset of the team going into a season like this?
Well, I'll be honest with you. One thing that I remind my teams with all the chatter that's going around about us being favorites, we're not taking it that way. What I say to my team is we were the third best team last year. We weren't first, and that's what matters, especially when it comes to goals being championship. Absolutely. That is our goal. We're taking it one step at a time. Today is our first opponent, so we're looking to come out with a W, as I mentioned, but our mindset is literally one day at a time, one game at a time, one play at a time. And that's the message that I've been inspiring to my team since the first day of camp.
Absolutely. And obviously, without giving away the X's and the O's, if the Bears are doing what they want to do offensively and defensively, what does that look like?
Run the ball. It ain't no secret. As a former quarterback, you would think I would hate to say that, but no. Controlling the clock is one of the things that we look forward to doing. We might surprise you here and there, but no. We definitely want to control the clock, run the ball effectively, and keep the ball out of their hands. They definitely have some dangerous players that I know about, and our goal is to keep it out of their hands. So that's our mission, that's our goal. And for them, we watch a lot of film. We watch a lot of film. I know exactly, some of the tendencies that they have, and hopefully we can exploit that today.
Absolutely. Well, Coach, best of luck tonight and during the rest of the season. We hope to catch up with you again real soon.
Thank you so much.
All right, you got it. Head coach Jason Walker of the Bears looking for a magical season here in 2023. Joe, will send it back up to you upstairs.
Just 5 minutes to go until kickoff, and Bears quarterback Juan Rodriguez kind enough to join Dave down on the field. We won't waste any more time here. Right back down to Dave with Juan Rodriguez.
I am here with Bears star quarterback Juan Rodriguez. And Juan, I asked Coach the same question. I'll ask you. It's been a long off season. Everybody's waiting and ready to get back onto the field. What does this night mean to you guys?
It's been a long day coming ever since our last preseason game, since the last time we touched the field. A lot of work putting in the offseason for this big moment, man. We came up short last season, which, still haunts us, but that use that as motivation all offseason to just come out here and become better and build on the positives and just work on what we needed to work on.
Absolutely. And Juan, as the quarterback, obviously keeping the team, under control, in and out of the huddle real quick, especially being the first game of the season where there's a lot of jitters there. What's kind of your role in making sure the team stays poised, confident going out there on your home field?
Luckily for us, we have a lot of vets on this team, but for the new guys, that might be their first start, we just try to tell them, remember, it's just football. Have fun, study the plays, and if you make a mistake, go 100% making a mistake. We can live with that. As long as you guys just, keep your head in the game. It's more mental than anything. But for the most part, we got a young, great core group of guys that, just want to have fun and play ball. That's all. Just contribute any way they can.
Excellent. And as far as your opponents tonight, the Empire State Demon Knights, you know them well. You guys faced off a couple times last year,
Tough
some
team.
hard-fought games. What are some of the things that they do well that you guys have to, stop and exploit on the other side as well?
When they find a weakness, they try to exploit it. So it's like, a chess game. You got to figure out stuff on the fly. And I will say they're a tough, competitive, physical team. They bring it every play. And if you make a mistake, they'll make you pay. And they on offense for them, they like to long out drives and run the ball and stuff. But I think we got a team that's built for all of that to stop that this year. I think we got a better team this year.
Excellent. Well, I know you guys are excited to get back out there. I know we're excited to watch you play. Best of luck tonight and during the rest of the season.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. Juan Rodriguez joins us. Joe will send it back up to you.
Great job, Dave. And as Dave makes his way back to the booth, we will step out for a word or two. And when we come back, we will have our final thoughts and kickoff to the EFA's 2023 season between the Empire State Demon Knights and the New York Bears right here on the PDF Sports Network.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com. Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com. We are back here, and you're looking at the iconic Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex, better known to us as Torn Valley, nestled here in Hillburn, New York, where we will be next week as well when the New York Legion make their EFA debut against this same Bears team. Joe, it's part of a slow August rollout to the season that we will see the EFA only play one game each week, leading us into Labor Day, and then the action intensifies with the ex-EFL teams commencing their season the weekend after Labor Day. Crossover games, as we mentioned, and multiple games each week for us to choose from. So for us, Joe, a chance to really see each EFA team take center stage and showcase what their season promises for us. Tell me what your expectations are for these two teams tonight.
Well, I've touched on it already, but with Empire State, you cannot emphasize it enough. This Demon Knights team is going to run the football. They had the league's best running game a year ago, and you know they hope to replicate that here in 2023. However, if they want to get the season off to a good start, they will need to overcome their struggles against the Bears. Last season, they averaged fewer points per game against New York than against any other team, and that includes a game that we covered here on PDF, where Empire State led 6-0 following their opening drive. On the other side, for New York, I certainly expect to see more of the balanced offensive attack that I highlighted earlier, but something I didn't speak about was how their offense connected on plenty of big plays last season. New York's screen passes have often been the catalyst for setting up throws down the field, and the Demon Knights were susceptible to allowing big completions as a result of coverage breakdowns last season. I think we can look for the Bears to take advantage of that tonight.
Joe, we said it last year as well. The goal for both of these teams is to get better and better as the season progresses. Use these opening games to shake off some of the rust from the offseason, develop more chemistry, and so on. Let's start here with the Demon Knights. Smash mouth football with Lopez behind that O-line, but they threw the ball plenty last year as well. They feel they got better defensively as well. What are their keys to the game to make a statement win against the Bears?
We've spoken plenty about the running game on the offensive side of the ball, so let's talk a bit about the Demon Knights passing game, but good for Empire State. When they did complete passes, those plays typically went for big gains. The bad news is that they completed only 35% of their pass attempts last season. They will need to improve upon that tonight if they're going to knock off the Bears on New York's home field. Defensively, the biggest issue Empire State faced last season was the big play, and we saw that in their game against the Bears last season here on PDF. It's tough enough to overcome that against any team, but playing on the road against one of the league's top teams in their home opener makes it that much more necessary to limit explosive plays.
Right, Joe. And conversely, the Bears entered last year 2 years removed from even having a team. They were the wild card team, the X-Factor team, if you will. Not this year. They were the clear number 3 team last year, and the top 2 teams are gone. So they have a massive bullseye on their back, clear players that need to be stopped. How do they keep that standing and make sure they put away the Demon Knights tonight and put the EFA on notice?
The Bears got off to a slow start against the Demon Knights in their first meeting last season, but their defense seized control of the game in the second half shortly after their offense connected on a huge touchdown pass on their first drive of the third quarter. Tonight, they'll hope to get off to a better start, much like they did in their big 26-0 win over Empire State in the final game of the 2022 regular season. Stopping the run is always a focus against the Demon Knights as well, but the Bears need to be on the lookout for the new addition to this Empire State roster and the creativity of this offense. We've seen Empire State find unique ways to get the ball into the hands of their playmakers, and the Bears need to be on the lookout for that tonight.
Right, so Joe, a lot of our people who are tuning in probably expecting kickoff by now, but we are a little bit delayed. The officials met with both teams. Of course, they discussed the rules and stuff as well. And, you had mentioned, Joe, the meeting between these two teams last year. We do have a replay package that we could show. Why don't we take a look at some of the plays there, some of the marquee highlights from that game that we covered, and maybe you could take us through. Some of the visuals here.
I will do that for you in just a few moments, as we are going to get a look here at some highlights from that last meeting that we covered here on PDF between the Bears and the Demon Knights. There you see it on your screen. Ty Lopez gets the Demon Knights offense all the way down to the goal line on their opening drive in that game. He was fantastic. The league's leading rusher last season, a big part of Empire State's opening drive. That set up this touchdown pass. Jaden Mann to Errol James on the fade. That's a play that Empire State loves to run down around the goal line. Certainly something that the Bears will keep an eye on here tonight. As for the New York offense, Cam Abalos, huge game against the Demon Knights. We actually spoke about one of the big plays that Abalos was a part of just moments ago. That was on the first drive of the third quarter, that screen pass on New York's first offensive drive. Here, Juan Rodriguez rolls left, throws down the field. Moquez Dickens, huge catch, heavy traffic, takes a huge hit after the catch. He holds on. Big play there. He was rewarded just moments later, as you'll see coming up in just a few moments. He is the recipient on this touchdown pass, and that would tie the score at 6. Empire State failed on their 2-point try. The Bears would convert for 2 to take an 8-6 lead. Once again here, Rodriguez rolling out, showing what he can do on the run, finds Abalos again, but look here. Abalos spins and throws a lateral down on the goal line. That did not go for the touchdown. It set up the Bears on the goal line, but a botched handoff and turnover would give Empire State possession back. Hard to believe how close the Bears came. They were on the doorstep. They failed to score. Huge turnover forced by Empire State. We saw a huge play and an incredible catch by Dickens. How about this catch? Tyler Sawicki going up in a double team. He's inside the 5. He makes the catch. That sets up the Empire State offense with goal to go, and Ty Lopez would punch it in for an Empire State touchdown. Once again, the Demon Knights fail the 2-point try. Opening drive, third quarter, Abalos wide open up the sideline. I mentioned this play before, and it was a big one as the go-ahead touchdown puts the Bears up by 2. They convert on the 2-point try and now lead by 4. Here, fourth down for Empire State. They attempt an end around to get it. Gutsy play call. Doesn't pay off there. Empire State stopped on fourth down. This is Kenneth Charter, one of the few returning running backs for the Bears this season. He's sure to be a big part of their offensive game plan. He opens this drive with a big carry. Now Trey Myers with a carry. That took the Bears into plus territory and would set up this, a touchdown that ultimately would clinch the game. Looked like there was a bit of a miscommunication on the play fake. Rodriguez just got that ball away to Myers, and he is gone for the touchdown. 6 more points on the board for the Bears. They lead 22-12, and that was our final score in the last game we covered between these two teams here on PDF. The Bears have plenty of success against Empire State last season. They look to continue that tonight.
Wow, great job, Joe, taking us through those moments. And obviously that was just the game that PDF covered. These two teams played a second game, a game that determined playoff position last year. The Bears took that one as well and finished in third place. And so the stage is set here at Hillburn. The Bears and the Demon Knights get set for takeoff here. What Joe and I will do is take one final break, and when we come back, the EFA season is upon us. It's Demon Knights versus Bears. Stay with us on your home for the EFA, the PDF Sports Network. East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements. And they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com. We are back here at the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Community Health and Sports Center here in Torn Valley, Hillburn, New York, the site of the EFA kickoff between the Demon Knights and the New York Bears. The teams have just had the coin toss. I believe the Bears will be receiving the ball first, Joe. Not 100% sure of that, but I think we're also going to have our nation's anthem that will be played, and then we'll get this one started about 10 minutes later than we had anticipated. But both teams are ready. The officials are ready as well. And the microphone has been given to the young lady who is going towards the 50 and will get us ready here for kickoff.
So the singing of the national anthem should be coming up in just a few moments, but I do have some final stats to point out just ahead of kickoff before the anthem, something I didn't get to touch on yet. The Bears outscored Empire State 48-12 last season. That's something that has to be on the minds of the Demon Knights entering tonight's game. We will see if they can overcome their struggles against the Bears last season. They have to limit the big plays. As we mentioned, that's going to be very important. And, of course, the Empire State running game sure to play a big role in this one. The Bears have a playmaking defense. They'll be looking to do that again. We'll get a chance to see them shortly.
We'll throw it down now to the field for the live singing of our national anthem.
Isabella Ginigo, ladies and gentlemen. And now
we are back here getting ready, both teams in their respective huddles. And, Joe, a little bit of a different look for the Empire State Demon Knights. They're wearing their blue jerseys today, of course, not wanting to wear the same color as the home team, the Bears, who are also in black. The Demon Knights switching it up a little bit on us.
Well, Dave, my first impression when I saw those jerseys is, are they looking for a jersey sponsorship from the PDF Sports Network? They have our colorway going there. I like the look. The royal blue and the white would make a great jersey if you slap that PDF logo on the right side of the chest, and all of a sudden, we have our first team sponsorship. But on an unrelated note, I was talking about the Bears a bit. Heading into break, the Demon Knights, of course, we know their running game, a huge part of what they look to do offensively, but I think the key for them this season is going to be consistency. The Demon Knights last year had some games where they were able to hang with some of the top teams in the league, and then there were other weeks where their offense just really struggled to put points on the board. You never really knew which Empire State team was going to show up. When the Demon Knights have showed up offensively, things have typically gone very well for them. You mentioned they think they've improved on defense. defense. We're going to get a look at Ricardo Caballero at quarterback once again. We saw him last season, so he'll shoulder a big part of the load on the offensive side of the ball. But I'm excited to see some of the changes this Empire State team has made. Taking a look at the Bears roster, a lot of returning players, especially in the passing game. The question mark for them is going to be, if I'm not mistaken, they're without their top 2 rushers from last year. Right. So we'll see how they fare in terms of their running game. A very balanced offense for them in 2022.
Right, and of course these early season games are all about watching several players just emerge into spotlight performers that we get to see week in and week out establish themselves. And that's what these opening weeks are about, Joe. When you think about the season, it's an 8-game season for these EFA teams that'll take us all the way until early November. So it's not so much a sprint as it is a marathon. And of course, week to week, it's about building your team to be the best it can possibly be mid-November.
No question about it, Dave. And, of course, these teams vying for a championship. We highlighted it at the top of the show, but in case you missed the start to our pregame, based on record from last year, these 2 teams certainly enter this season as the favorites to secure an EFA championship. The other 2 teams returning to the league from last year are the Legion and the Bandits. Those 2 teams went a combined 2-16. We do get our first look at the Legion next week. We certainly look forward to that. But Empire State and New York, both playoff teams last year, hoping to get their seasons off to a stronger start than last year's season, as both teams did lose their Week 1 matchup.
That's precisely right. And, of course, as you mentioned during pregame, the 2 teams that won on the opening weekend last year were in the championship. So the winner of this game obviously hoping for that same fate, as Ricardo Caballero will get into this one. He is the team's quarterback, middle linebacker, and will do the kicking. Multi-tooled. And he will get this one started up at 6:45, and it'll go right out of bounds, and that will draw the flag, and will start the Bears without having the ability to return. And that's an element to the Bears game too, Joe, that was very dynamic last year, their special teams.
Cam Abalos, again, a name we mentioned during the pregame as we took a look back at that midseason matchup between Empire State and New York last year. Huge factor in the receiving game, also a huge factor in the return game. You have to wonder if Empire State intentionally kicked the ball out of bounds there on that kickoff. New York will start at the 40, and before I turn the call over to you, Dave, I want to remind our viewers we don't have a game clock. We are going to do our best to get time updates from inside the facility as time is being kept up here in the booth to our left.
That's right. So we'll do our best, of course, to update you as we hear it from the public address. I want to thank Andrew Rotundo, who will be our engineer today. Nick Bavona working our camera controls. And we will have our first play from scrimmage here in the Elite Football Alliance. Juan Rodriguez will operate out of the shotgun. We talked to him during pregame. Veteran group and core here for this Bears team, looking for some big things in 2023, and they will run the football right away up the middle. Trey Myers got the first carry, and he will go backwards for about 3 yards, maybe a little bit less, but the Demon Knights were coming in through those A-gaps, Joe.
Great start for Empire State defensively. The Bears move backwards on their first play from scrimmage. And we mentioned Myers. We mentioned Kenneth Charter, 2 returning running backs for the Bears. Neither in the top 2 in rushing on this team. You have to figure they are going to be a big part of what New York looks to do offensively here in 2023.
Right. And something with the Demon Knights, too, defensively, is that they did show the blitz plenty of occasions last year, and they'll creep up again to the line. Justin Stewart, the cornerback, playing up, now eases off as Rodriguez wants to check things up, and he reverses Myers from right to left. Rodriguez will go back to pass. He looks out in the flat. The completion is made to Patio, and he gets past the 40 to about the 42. Good open field tackle, however, made that time by Stewart.
Nicely done by the Demon Knights to rally and make that tackle. Now, we did get Empire State's roster just a few minutes before kickoff. I don't believe we have a 30 on that roster, Dave. So 30 at defensive back was lined up against Patio. We don't have a name for that player, but you mentioned it. Stewart was one of the players in on that tackle.
Yeah, finishing him off was Stewart, but good job. And that's what the Demon Knights really pride themselves on too, Joe. They'll give up some yardage, but they want their tackling and their fundamental football to be on point. 3rd down and 9 here from the 41. Rodriguez with a nice pocket. Middle of the field, it's overthrown. It was intended for Tyler Patio again, working the middle of the field. It'll be 3 and out for the Bears.
And there was certainly a window there. By no means an easy throw, but Patio had some space in front of both the cornerback and the safety. The ball just a bit too high, sailed over everybody, and the Bears go 3 and out on their opening possession. Can't script it much better if you're Empire State as we get a second look at that last throw.
Yeah, and all of that comes after the nice job on first down, really bottling up the running play, forcing the Bears to throw on second and third down. And we heard Coach Walker say it. We heard Juan Rodriguez say it. They want to be able to run the football. That's their bread and butter here for this Bears team. They were only able to do it the one time on that drive. Punt coming from Williams. It's a bouncer that ends up, and the Demon Knights, of course, withdraw from it. It'll be down at about the 26-yard line. So all things considered, not a bad boot that time by Williams. The Demon Knights will take over.
Not bad at all, Dave. And I'm not sure if you caught it on that punt, but that ball skipping along the turf very easily could have hit the back of a Demon Knight who was moving up the field, getting set into blocking position. It may have actually been Caballero who had his back to the football, the only blue jersey in the area. Fortunately for Empire State, it skips away from him, and they will start their first drive from just outside of their own 25.
Yeah, and Joe and I went back to watch some of last year's EFA games, and I felt like in at least 50% of them we had a special teams touchdown that was scored. And I think in every single game we either had a big punt, a blocked punt, a huge return, something involving special teams that turned games around. And that could have been the first right there. Instead, Demon Knights avoid catastrophe, but they will take over at their own 26. And speaking of running the football, this is a team that prides itself on doing so, but Caballero will work under center here. And Ty Lopez, the usual suspect behind him. The give is to Lopez, and he gets tripped up right at the line of scrimmage, able to fall forward for about 2 on the play.
Lopez, a very busy man in the backfield for Empire State last year. They run the ball a lot, and we've seen a lot of runs by Empire State in the past outside of the tackles. They go up the middle on their first handoff of the game. Another set we've seen from Empire State plenty in the past, that single back snugs look.
Right.
So that's something to be on the lookout for throughout the night here in tonight's game.
Yeah, and both of these teams want to make the run game their calling card, and if these two teams are doing what they want to do, they are whittling the time down. They're going on long, extended drives. Bears went 3 and out on theirs. Here come the Demon Knights now, 2nd and 8. Bears show blitz at the line of scrimmage, long snap count, and it is a pitch off to the left side, and going nowhere fast was Lopez as he was converged on. Paris Armwood, the first one there.
Well, that's what I was talking about, Dave. We've seen a lot of those toss plays from the Demon Knights in past games, and it's very clear that the Bears have been well prepared for that. No chance for Lopez on that carry. Another run in this game early on, going for a negative play. That one for a loss of about 4 or 5 yards, and now Empire State will snap it from their own 23.
Great job by the inside linebackers on that play too, Joe, for the Bears, is hitting that hole and then staying true to their lanes and stretching it out to the right to stay with the ball carrier there. It'll be 3rd down and 13. And Caballero will work for the first time out of the shotgun. Once again, the Bears creep up to the line of scrimmage. They look to be bringing numbers from the right side, and they do. And going deep is Caballero down the right sideline, and with a step and making the catch inbounds. And that ball was caught by A.J. Ray just outside the 40-yard line.
We spoke to A.J. Ray pregame, Dave, and he makes a big impact early in this one. What a throw by Caballero, and tremendous concentration by Ray to adjust to that football in the air. That is not an easy catch. He had the size advantage and gained a step at the last moment along that far sideline, makes the catch, sliding on his knees, and the Demon Knights have the first big play of this 2023 EFA season.
Yeah, and I believe he was working against number 44, Mike Rodriguez, who's one of the standout corners on this Bears team. And Ray just turned on some of the afterburners there, Joe, and caught up to that one. It looked like originally that pass was going to be overthrown. First down of the game, and the Demon Knights are in Bears territory at the 41-yard line. Caballero once again works on the center. Pitch out right side, flag on the play. Nothing doing, a loss of about 4 as the Bears once again making the play. Justin Raymond.
The Bears' run defense has been very strong here on these first few plays in this game. The Demon Knights haven't had much on the ground early, but the big completion through the air has them in plus territory, and it will be a 2nd down and long.
So it'll be 1st down and 5 after the Bears penalty. So that negates what would have been a 4-yard loss. Instead, 1st and 5 instead of 2nd and 14. Demon Knights will take that any day. But that was the 3rd time they ran the football, Joe, the 2nd time for a loss. So the Bears really priding themselves on stopping that run.
And we've spoken about it many times in the past, avoiding negative plays. So key for these offenses in EFA play. Moving backwards on early downs makes it much tougher. However, there was a flag on that play, so it will be 1st and 5 for Empire State following the penalty.
Once again, that Snugs formation that you alluded to, Joe. Caballero under center. 1st and 5. Fake pitch. They work the end around. This time to the near side, it is Ray. Ray making one-man miss and bouncing inside the 30 to the 26-yard line. 1st down, Demon Knights.
And how about the start to this game for A.J. Ray? On the end around, he was able to beat a man out of the backfield. The Bears were in hot pursuit behind the line of scrimmage, but Ray made sure there was not a negative play to be had here. He beats one potential tackler, had decent blocking in front of him, but making a 2nd man miss was the key on that play. Quatrell Huffin had a chance to bring him down. He could not, and the Demon Knights have another 1st down. They are now at the Bears' 26-yard line.
Yeah, and that's exactly defensively what you don't want to see is playmakers in open space, and that time Ray was able to make a couple of fancy moves. 1st down for the Demon Knights, their 2nd of this drive as they work it now from the Bears' 26-yard line. A drive that started at their own 26. Same formation. This time in motion was Scott. They work it to the right side. Caballero will take it himself and bounces to about the 21-yard line, gain of 5 yards.
That's a nice gain on 1st down, and I spoke about it during the pregame. This Empire State offense is a very creative offense. We've already seen an end around, a quarterback keeper, a couple of different running plays early on, and Empire State with a very impressive first drive to this point. The question is going to be, can they finish this first drive with a score? We've seen them go ahead early in games more than once. If they do go ahead, can they protect that lead?
Absolutely. First quarter's important, but sometimes not as important as the 3rd and 4th, and we've seen some explosive 4th quarters from some of their opponents last season, but so far so good. This is exactly what the Demon Knights wanted to do, milk that clock and win that time of possession game. After holding the Bears to a 3 and out, they continue to drive. 2nd down and 5. The give up the middle to Lopez. Lopez bouncing for another Demon Knights 1st down at the 14-yard line.
And you could see the Bears respecting the handoff or a toss going to the outside. They give it to Lopez right up the middle, and there was a nice hole to be found in the middle of that Bears defensive line. Lopez surges forward for another Demon Knights 1st down. What an impressive first drive this has been for Empire State as they now move inside of the red zone.
We're a long way from points still, Joe, but how important was that penalty that the Bears were called for that negated the 4-yard loss on 1st down back at the 41-yard line, gave the Demon Knights a 1st and 5, and they've been able to stay on schedule since. Now with a 1st and 10 at the 14-yard line. Caballero looks in the flat to Ray. Ray dancing at the 15, but he is taken down very nicely that time by Rodriguez. No gain.
And that's a good play by Rodriguez. You've seen the running game of Empire State get going. You know, as a defensive back, you have to respect that from your position at the outside corner. But Rodriguez still staying home on the screen pass, made a nice play to get that tackle for no gain. And now the Bears will have a chance to get Empire State working from a 2nd and long rather than a 2nd and medium, 2nd and short.
Right. This is a Demon Knights team that likes to keep the playbook wide open with 2nd and shorts. Now forced here, 2nd and long. Caballero will work out of the shotgun. Bears retreat as the pass is to Ray. Ray makes a really nice catch, and he's inside the 10. Looks like he's taken out at about the 7-yard line, 3 yards short of the 1st down.
Now, if I remember correctly, Ray joined this Empire State team late last season. He began to factor in down the stretch for this Demon Knights offense. So far in this opening drive, he's been the go-to receiver. I don't believe any other receiver has been targeted by Empire State on this opening drive. And now the Demon Knights on the doorstep Can they finish 3rd and 4 here? You have to think they will go for it on 4th down, likely 2 plays to pick up a first.
All right, that's the one thing that we did not see from the Demon Knights last season was a kicking game, or at least a field goal kicking game, or 1 point extra points. So you would think that the field goal's off the table here. 3rd down and 4. Up the middle, and that's a touchdown! Beautiful throw and catch. Tyler Sawicki with his first catch of the game, and the Demon Knights are up 6-0.
And for the first time tonight, Empire State targets another receiver, and Tyler Sawicki open over the middle in the end zone for the touchdown. I said it last year when these two teams met midseason, but a big statement by the Demon Knights on their first drive. They go up 6-0 on the Bears, this game being played on the road, and you can't ask for a better start if you're Empire State in this game.
Brilliant start, of course, after forcing the Bears to a 3-and-out to be able to go the length of the field, 74 yards on that drive, and looking to add a couple of more to the ledger here via the 2-point conversion upcoming.
2-point tries always key in these EFA games. We don't see many kicks, if we do see any at all. So the 2-point conversions always manage to play a role late, especially in close games.
Officially 7 yards on the touchdown pass from Caballero to Sawicki for the touchdown score. Lopez in I formation behind Caballero. It will be a pitch to him right side. A lot of black jerseys in front, and he fails to get past the goal line, and so the score will remain 6-0.
And he was just short, Dave, but that was a good run by Lopez. There wasn't much there. He had 3 Bears pursuing him in the backfield off of that toss. He planted his foot and cut up field toward the goal line. That was almost enough to get in. There you see it right there. Plants the foot, manages to leave 2 or 3 defenders behind him. However, there were 2 or 3 more waiting on the goal line, and they stopped him from converting on the 2-point try.
Yeah, Bears certainly were not fooled on that play and were able to keep Lopez out, but not before the Demon Knights do the initial damage in this game, taking it 74 yards on their first offensive drive. And not sure if it was intentional or not, Joe, but they ended up kicking the ball straight out of bounds the last time, perhaps to prevent a return for the Bears.
And that's something that I think, given what we've seen in the past, wise. Because Abalo's certainly a weapon in the return game. As we did mention before, the Demon Knights got us a roster right ahead of kickoff, had to make a late jersey swap, but we just have to pass that roster along to next door. So I apologize for the brief silence. They have it. We have the roster, and the action is set to resume momentarily. But you said it, Dave. Keeping the ball away from these Bears returners may be something the Demon Knights look to do in this game. Perhaps that changes with a 6-point lead, but the way their defense performed on that first drive, you probably don't feel too bad about giving the ball to New York at the 40.
Absolutely, trading it off, especially when you can hold them to a 3-and-out, get the ball back in decent position yourself. So Caballero with a fresh running start, and once again he looks sidelined straight out of bounds, Joe. There's no debating what he was trying to do there. And the Bears will take over at the 40-yard line.
And a token flag is thrown onto the field, as that was clearly intentional. You said it, Dave. So New York will start at the 40-yard line again. And we've seen the Bears fall behind in very similar fashion against Empire State. We look back at that game last year. That game opened 6-0 Empire State. The Bears then took the lead 8-6. The Demon Knights took the lead into halftime 12-8. But from that point, it was all Bears playing a complete 4 quarters, something that's going to be very important for this Empire State team. And if you're New York, the trend of falling behind early in games perhaps just a bit concerning.
Absolutely. And at least the one saving grace here, the ball actually be spotted, Joe, at the 45 because that's where it went out of bounds. So yard line there adjusted from the 40 to 45. But one thing we've seen from the Bears is they haven't flinched when they've fallen behind. You covered a game last year against the Gators where it was really back and forth like 2 prize fighters all game long. And certainly early stages still. And the give is up the middle, and dancing about is Myers, and Myers is able to clear midfield and gain about 7 yards on first down.
You touched on it just a moment ago, Dave. The last time I covered a Bears game here, that was an unforgettable one. Didn't go the Bears' way, but arguably the most entertaining regular season game we covered here on PDF all year. And the Bears will look to run with some tempo here after the nice gain on first down.
Sure, so trying to get some pace here. Got some movement at the line of scrimmage, no flags, and now Rodriguez wants to go over top, and it's a little bit too long in the direction of Patio, who's been pretty busy here in the opening stages.
And he had him, Dave, just a bit overthrown on that ball. As just like we saw on that big Demon Knights passing play, Patio began to gain a step or two further down the field, and the ball was just a yard or two ahead of him on that last throw. Here you'll get a second look at it, as we may have had a brief glitch in our replay there, but you see it now on your screen, and that ball falls incomplete.
And one of the reasons why you go over top there, Joe, is just a great job of getting 7 yards on first down. Really opens up the playbook. Allows you to do some dynamic things on second down, third down. And that the give is up the middle again, and that time nothing but blue jerseys for Trey Myers.
Well, if that doesn't scream, we're going for it on fourth down. I don't know what does, Dave,
Well,
but
big personnel changes, though, coming in, except Rodriguez is still staying out there.
I was a bit surprised to see them hand it off there. The Demon Knights clearly were not taken by surprise, as the Empire State running defense has been strong early in this game, and they've only allowed one complete pass for a couple of yards.
So interesting here, as we believe the Bears will be going for this one. They take a long time in the huddle here, and they have to break this huddle to get this playoff in time. It is officially a 4th down and 4. And we do have a timeout, I believe, will be called by the Bears. Indeed, timeout is called.
So 4th down and about 4 here. If you're the Bears, you're unlikely to run the ball. You have to know that defensively if you're Empire State. We've spoken about the screen game of the Bears. That's certainly on the table in a 4th and short situation. But last season, we saw the Bears fake the screen pass and then go over the top. So a lot on the minds of the Demon Knights defense in this spot as they look to make it back-to-back stops, a 3-and-out on drive 1. They hope to make it a turnover on downs here on Empire State drive number 2.
A big moment in the game here, right at midfield. So if you're the Bears and you cannot convert here, you're giving the ball back to the Demon Knights with really half the field only to go after a very, very good first drive by the Demon Knights. So interesting things in play here. 4th and 4 once again from the Demon Knights 49-yard line. The Bears on their second drive here. It's one of the first stoppages of play in addition to that incomplete pass. Otherwise, we've had a pretty moving clock here in the first quarter, so we have to think we're coming on to later stages of this first quarter. Official time being kept on the field. Rodriguez back to pass out of the shotgun. He looks towards the sideline and once again throws high, that time in the direction of Mayer Jr., and the Demon Knights are going to take over on downs.
Well, on that play, Rodriguez was very close to taking a big hit. I didn't catch who it was that came in almost unblocked. You'll see it here on this replay, off the edge toward the bottom of your screen. Huge block by Myers to save his quarterback, Rodriguez, from the big hit. That gave them the opportunity to make that throw. It was too high for Mayer Jr., and a tremendous start for Empire State defensively. You spoke about it during the pregame, Dave. This Demon Knights team believes they have improved defensively. We've seen that so far here in the first quarter.
Yeah, that was Eric Johnson who was dying to meet Rodriguez in the backfield and didn't get his chance that time, but certainly might have rushed the throw, which was in the flat, would have been a first down had it been converted. But the Bears 0 for 2 on their offensive drives tonight, and maybe even more importantly, give the ball right back to the Demon Knights just shy of midfield after a very successful first drive in the Demon Knights direction. They converted a big 3rd down on their first drive. Big play to A.J. Ray. And a penalty that aided their drive as well. Now they go up the middle. Not much there. Gain of maybe 2 yards as L.A. Richards, the ball carrier that time. He sees his first drive of the game.
We thought perhaps we might see Lopez carry the ball every play in this game. So busy last season, so busy on the opening drive, but for the first time with the Demon Knights possessing the ball, he gets a breather.
Interesting, too, Joe, that next week the Bears will be right back to work. They have to play the Legion next week on this field. The Demon Knights are off for next week and will return in 2 weeks when they host the Bandits, who will be the final team to debut their EFA season in 2 weeks. Caballero, once again, and end around, and this time with a lot of room to run is Richards, and he gets past the 40-yard line to about the 37. So a couple of runs and a first down for Richards.
Well, on the first end around, the Bears had defenders there, and Empire State had to block it really well. This time, it looks like the Bears were fooled on this one. Not nearly as many defenders in the area, and you can see it at the linebacker spots and in the defensive backfield. The Bears defense moving toward that far sideline, and that opened up plenty of running room on that play for another nice gain. This time, Richards again getting the carry on the end around, and Empire State has picked up yet another first down.
And a good pulling block by number 55, James Harris, who we had, of course, in the pregame, making the block on that play. Harris usually plays center and guard, Joe. He's playing left tackle today, so he's obviously adept at all three of those positions, guard, tackle, center, but usually we see him on the interior, great exterior block that time, and I believe, Joe, that the Bears have taken their second time out.
And given the way they are huddled along the far sideline, looks like they have some coaches in the middle of that huddle. That does appear to be the case. So the Bears have now spent 2 timeouts in the opening quarter, and you have to think we're closing in on the end of quarter number 1. The Demon Knights have kept the ball on the ground quite a bit. The Bears have run it a few times, and we've seen some short completions as well. So this quarter has had a nice pace to it. Keep in mind we started a bit late, but I said it before and I'll say it again. If you're Empire State, you have to love the start you've gotten off to in this game on both sides of the ball.
Joe, let me ask you, obviously we're still so early in this game. Are you surprised by what you're seeing?
I think the offensive game plan of Empire State has not surprised me. I think the way they've had their way with the Bears defensively has been a bit surprising. They've done such a good job defensively in this game, and this Bears offense has had a lot of success against Empire State.
Threadgill now joins the backfield with Caballero on this first down. Ball officially spotted at the Bears' 38-yard line coming out of the timeout. Caballero with the long snap count. Does have a good clean pocket. He's looking right sideline once again towards the corner, and a catch is made by A.J. Ray inside the 10-yard line. First and goal, ESDK.
Another huge play for this Demon Knights offense. They have pounded the rock, and pounded the rock some more. That sets up the deep passing play down the field, and I said it during the pregame, Dave. Empire State doesn't put the ball in the air very often, but when they do, those plays typically go for big gains, and we have seen that trend on full display here in this first quarter. What a tremendous catch by Ray as you see him, or at least I believe that's him, with his hands on his knees right now. He took a big shot at the end of that play. He holds on, and he's put the Demon Knights offense on his back these first 2 drives. He has been heavily involved in both big plays and helped them get down around the goal line on drive number 1. This next snap will come from inside the 10 as Empire State has it at the 7.
Great throw by Caballero as well on that play, threading it between the corner, Kenneth Charter, and the safety, Quatrell Huffin. Put it in the perfect place, and Ray ran under it. Ball is spotted at the 7-yard line, maybe just outside the 7, and the give is going to be a pitch out to the left side, and I believe Threadgill might have been the runner there. No gain. In fact, he might have lost a yard. And no, that was Lopez coming back into the game.
Well, the Bears have had that play scouted very well. That outside toss is a play the Demon Knights haven't had much success with early in this game, but we know that's a big part of their offense, and we've seen that set up the end around, set up the screen passes, as that is our tent making a cameo at the end of that replay. We'll either get that down in between quarters or at halftime. I don't think rain is going to be a threat here tonight.
Well, so far, no. We'll keep our eye on the weather. We had about 30 to 35%. We were actually given an option to set up outside or inside. We chose inside for our booth at least, never knowing if that isolated thunderstorm was going to move in.
We have a thunderstorm coming in, Dave.
Okay. Caballero looking left side. That pass is blocked, and that was a dangerous ball in the air. It does land on green, so no harm done. It will be a 3rd and goal. Good job by the Bears up front.
Well, Dave, that was almost a gift for Mike Rodriguez as that ball was tipped up in the air on the line of scrimmage trying to get a look at who it was that tipped that in the air. I think that's number 99, Gerard Revange, who got a hand on it. And that ball almost landed right in the lap of Rodriguez, and I don't think anyone was going to stop him from taking it back for a touchdown if he was able to pull it in.
And it's a good thing they blocked that, Joe. I don't know if you saw that replay, but Sawicki was wide open, and he was going to be the intended receiver. Now, the Bears could have caught up to him in the flat, but he was alone. 3rd down and goal. The give up front to Lopez, and nothing happening. First one in, Deshaun Frazier, and joined by a host of Bears to finish off Lopez.
Bit surprised to see Empire State hand it off up the middle there. Once again, a play call that ensures they are going for it on 4th down. Not that we're surprised by that, but the Bears not taken by surprise at all, as I believe we have the end of the first quarter.
Could be the end of the first. So that's it. The first 15 minutes out. We will step aside, take a quick break. When we come back, 4th down and goal for the Empire State Demon Knights. Stay with us. This is the EFA kickoff right here on the PDF Sports Network.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
Not a bad way to open up a quarter, Joe. 4th down and 10, or 4th down and goal, I should say, from the 7-yard line for the Demon Knights in a game in which they are up by a score. This is their second drive of the game after scoring 6 on their first drive.
Well, Empire State has been very impressive on both sides of the ball early, and they hope to see it pay off with 2 scores, one on each of their first 2 drives. One more chance to get in here on 4th down, and if you're the Bears, you're looking for a huge stop in this spot to try and shift momentum back in your direction.
This is the yard line in which they scored the last time. Slant over the middle to Sawicki was the call there. Caballero. And we have flags that will whistle this play dead. Caballero in the grass there, but play stops. It's likely an offensive penalty here, procedural, that will back the Demon Knights up 5 yards.
Well, that was going to be a foot race to the goal line, Dave. Williams and Caballero were going to be sprinting for that pylon in all likelihood because there was nobody else on that side of the field. Now, I think a reason for that was because of the flag, but nonetheless, those two look to be racing for the goal line on 4th down, and the flag will make this 4th and goal from the 12.
You wonder if this is almost a better yard line for the Demon Knights to put the ball in the air, just a lot more open space there. But either way, it's touchdown or bust on this play for the Demon Knights. Let's take a real statement here if they can punch this one in.
It's going to be 4th down and goal now from the 12-yard line for the Demon Knights.
So Caballero will work out of the shotgun. To his left is Richards. Caballero, Richards into block. Caballero looks towards the end zone, and that one is intercepted. Picked off by Huffin. Now Huffin is looking to take it out. He's past the 20. He gets to the 30. There's black jerseys in front of him. To the 40 and taken down high at about the 45-yard line. There is a flag at the end of that play, but the Bears are going to be in business.
And I think they're getting Stewart for a flag on that tackle, and that is a tough penalty on Stewart. But that's the call, and nonetheless, a huge tackle by Stewart for Empire State. And Dave, I spoke about it as we looked back at that matchup between these two teams last season. That fade route, a play they like on the goal line, And it certainly appeared that Huffin was ready for it. He had his eyes on the quarterback. He was waiting for that football. The throw just a bit short. And the officials will talk about this one, so we will see if they decide to tack on 15 yards to the return.
Yeah, and like you said, it looked like a tackle from up top. And I don't know if the face mask was grabbed there, but we're going to get an official notice here. It'll be holding on the Demon Knights probably before the interception. That penalty is declined, and then the flag that occurred up the field has been waved off. And so the Bears will have the ball, 1st and 10 at their own 48. So all things considered, Joe, after yielding a 1st and goal, that couldn't have ended any better for the Bears.
No question about it, Dave. And I was going to say, even if Empire State had turned the ball over on downs from the 12, that 5-yard penalty was a big boost for the Bears because that ensures you are not snapping the ball from inside,
right,
or I should say dropping back into your own end zone after snapping it from the goal line. But that huge return off the interception jumpstarts this Bears offensive drive, and now they take over from just shy of midfield.
And good looks by Huffin on that return, too, kind of slowing down and waiting for his blockers to matriculate up the field, and was able to get another 20, 30 yards out of that return. So the Bears on their 3rd offensive drive are guilty of procedural penalty themselves. Getting a head start was number 54, Brian Rivera, the right tackle. And the Bears will have to start 1st and 15.
Well, we were about to see something I mentioned earlier in the broadcast, the screen game of this Bears offense is they swung that ball out to Tyler Williams. Not much there in terms of blocking, as there were 3 blue jerseys and just 2 black jerseys, but the 5-yard penalty sets the Bears back, and moving backwards on early downs has been a problem for them so far in this game. 2 of their 3 drives have started with either a penalty or a negative play.
Yep, one of the themes of last year, too, that we talked about a lot, Joe, was pre-snap penalties and really thwarting drives and forcing teams to not be themselves. You know, we know the Bears want to be able to run the ball. Do they do it here on 1st and 15 now? Rodriguez goes back to pass. He's looking near sideline. That one once again going to be overthrown. Closest man in the neighborhood was Richards for the Demon Knights. Tyler Williams, the intended receiver.
And Richards was all over that play. He had 2 or 3 steps on Williams, really nowhere to put that football unless you intentionally underthrew it. Perhaps Rodriguez could have targeted the back shoulder, but that's a really tough completion with safety help over the middle especially. And nothing to be had there for the Bears on 1st and 15, 2nd down and long coming up.
So now a 2nd and long, and Rodriguez has missed long here on his throws a couple of times. You wonder if they'll stay near the line of scrimmage here with this toss, or if they look to change pace here and get something via the run. Looks like Ralston Romero has checked in at running back for the Bears, but it will be a throw for Rodriguez. Steps up in the pocket, wide open by the sideline, and the catch is made a few yards ahead of the 1st down marker. So this will be in Demon Knights territory at the 39, 1st down.
And that is great pocket awareness by Rodriguez. He stepped up to avoid the Demon Knights pass rush, gave himself a clean pocket to throw in by stepping up there, had a man wide open, and that was caught by Patio, who's been one of his prime targets so far.
Patio continues to line up on the right side, and once again there's movement before the snap. And it will be against the Bears again. Looks like they got Rivera again on the right side.
Penalties beginning to become an issue in this game, specifically now for the Bears. As we saw the Demon Knights pay for a penalty on their last drive, that backed them up from the 7 to the 12. Big difference when you're on the goal line. I think you have enough room to open the entire playbook from the 7. You don't want to find yourself backed up in that spot, but the Bears certainly don't want to continue committing penalties on 1st down. And for the 2nd time this drive, they have a 1st and 15.
They were able to wiggle out of that. On a big play to Patio by the sideline. He's been the go-to guy. He now lines up on the right side once again. It is Romero behind Rodriguez, who operates out of the shotgun. In motion is Mayer Jr. The give is up the middle to Romero. Romero is going to be taken down at the 45-yard line. That is a loss of 1 yard. 6 yards behind the original line of scrimmage.
That's what happens when you commit penalties on early downs. Sometimes you lose track as The Bears are now in a really tough spot, 2nd and 16. And if I'm not mistaken, that's the first touch for Romero, who was a member of the New York Legion last season.
Right.
One of the focal points for them offensively was getting him the football, but they struggled in the passing game, so it made it a bit tougher to get Romero enough carries to get going. That being said, he was impressive when the football was in his hands.
He absolutely was, and he was their workhorse for the first few weeks of the season as well, as they had problems at quarterback, did the Legion last year, with injuries, of course, thwarting their season along. Rodriguez now with Ralston to his left. He stays in to block. The pass is through the middle of everyone. Intended receiver was Mayer Jr. It'll be 3rd down and long.
And even if that was completed, there wasn't much to be gained on that play. Perhaps that would have gone for 5 or 6 yards and made it a 3rd down and a bit more manageable. Instead, it's now 3rd down and 16. And the Bears are in a really tough spot. A spot where if they do end up in 4th and long, would they consider a punt?
Right. Well, you definitely want to get some of this yardage back for sure. And you got to give the Demon Knights credit. Their coverage has been good in this game. Their assignments have been good. And really the only misfire was leaving Patio wide open on the sideline the last time they had a 2nd and long. Now it's 3rd down and 16. Demon Knights potentially show blitz on the left side. Now they back off and bring it the other way. The pass up the middle, and it is caught at the 35-yard line. Mulcahy makes the grab, gets a lot closer, and leaves the decision pretty obvious here on 4th down and a long 4. They will go for it.
No doubt the Bears will go for this on 4th down, and we saw it looking back toward last year, but Rodriguez, very good throwing on the move.
Yeah.
That ball right on target, and a good job by Mulcahy, especially with a defender right on his back. I'm not sure if he knew there was a defender there waiting, but he made the catch and was able to make this a 4th down and much more manageable. 5 to go for a Bears 1st down.
Yeah, I was going to say it was Rodriguez who really made that play by extending the play to the right side. They spread it out now, and the pass is in the flat to the right side. 1st down is made once again by Patio. So getting it right back in the hands of number 2, and the Bears are able to convert on 4th down.
That's a good job knowing where the sticks are for Patio on that play. He sat down just past the marker along the far sideline. The Demon Knights had a chance to bring him down quickly, but even if they tackle him immediately following that catch, he still had enough for a 1st down.
Nice crowd beginning to collect in front of us, Joe. Of course, as you mentioned, some bad weather coming in. At least that could be the expectation here. We are officially, the sun has officially set on us, or is behind intensive cloud cover in front of us. 1st and 10, 25-yard line. Rodriguez, the give is to Romero. He tries to string it out on the right side. Not much there. Might have gotten a hair past the line of scrimmage, but that's all.
The Demon Knights running defense in this game has been fantastic so far. They have not allowed anything on the ground. And the completions have only begun to ramp up for the Bears on this drive. Completions had been hard to come by before that. And we'll see if this Demon Knights defense can get stout as the Bears approach the red zone looking for their first points in this game. They're about 4 yards outside of the red zone, just inside of the 24-yard line.
Officially a 2nd and 9 as Romero was able to get a yard on that first play. Back in at running back is Trey Myers to the immediate left of Rodriguez. They go 4 wide receivers, but the give is to Myers, and he is going to get tripped up and brought down by Lambert, short of the 20-yard line, so it'll be 3rd down and 6, maybe 7.
Well, if you're the Bears, you have to like a 3rd and 7 a lot better than 3rd and 16, which is what we saw not too long ago on this drive. But it appears as if New York's offense has really begun to find their footing on this drive. They've been steadily moving up the field. The penalties have been problematic, but to their credit, they have overcome that and put themselves in a position where they have a good chance for points on this drive. A lot of that hinges on this 3rd down and 7 play.
Yeah, Rodriguez has missed with some of his longer tosses, but the short passing game has been working for the Bears. 3rd down and 7 to go. And that pass up the middle and caught by Patio. He is looking for the corner, and he will make it in for the touchdown.
And he throws up the deuces on the way in, Dave, as Patio did a good job to bring that football wide across the field and toward the near sideline. It looked like initially he might try and take it up the middle of the field and in, but instead he worked his way toward the near sideline and was able to take it in for a Bears touchdown.
So Patio gets the 6, officially 21 yards on that catch. And the Bears are going to go for the 1-point try here. Uriah Clark will look to get a right foot into this and potentially give the Bears a 1-point lead. And we have a procedural penalty as Bears put that one right into the backs of their own offensive line.
Now, Dave, we did see the Bears attempt kicks early last season. However, as the season went on, we did not see them attempt another kick in any of the other games we covered. The only kick we saw attempted by the Bears came in their Week 1 game against the Pharaohs, a game they lost 26-12. So they did not convert on any of those attempted point afters or field goal tries in that game, and they are whistled for a false start here and will back up 5 yards. We'll see if that perhaps changes the decision in this spot. Doesn't look like it will.
Yeah, I misspoke and I mentioned Uriah Clark was the kicker. It's 43, Justin Hunter, who will kick it. Different kicker than we saw last year for the Bears. Special teams plays have always been very important here. This 1 point could be a monster one. That is a line drive kick that is no good as it went to the left. And so the score remains 6-6, but the Bears do what they have to do. They stop the Demon Knights on what was a 1st and goal the other way, get an interception, a turnover, start around midfield, and take it the rest of the way to tie the score.
And the Demon Knights came awfully close to blocking that kick. There was a lot of traffic for Hunter to kick that ball through, and to his credit, he got the kick off and was able to clear the crossbar. However, that was wide of the uprights. As it looks like the Bears are coming back out to try it again.
Yeah, because I believe there was a penalty flag against the Demon Knights, and so now they'll move it back to the original point after line of scrimmage. So another try here for Justin Hunter. Trying to give the Bears a 1-point lead. Hunter gets that one up, and it's good. It just went through the right upright, and the Bears, on another try, make it hold up. It's now 7-6.
Well, that penalty now a costly one, as that will go as another point on the board for the Bears. And the Demon Knights looked like they were going to escape with the score tied. Instead, New York takes the lead, as we have to be winding down toward the end of this second quarter. That being said, New York did get the football first, so a sustained scoring drive here by Empire State could give them an opportunity to take the lead into halftime while receiving the football.
So, a brand new game, except the home team with the 1-point lead because of the special teams difference. Having a kicker is pretty golden here in semi-professional football. They're like little gold coins, Joe. You just don't find a lot of kickers kicking at this level. And when you have one, it's very special, and it could mean the difference in games. We've seen EFA championships decided on by point afters or 2-point conversions. So those special teams plays make a huge difference.
And I said it earlier in the game, 2-point conversions would be huge in this game. The Demon Knights failed to convert. We weren't sure if the Bears had a kicker. They certainly do, and that pays off in a big way as they take the lead 7-6. And you said it, Dave, late in the game, even if Empire State was to convert on a couple of 2-point tries, if the Bears trail by a point or 2, maybe even 3, having a kicker completely changes the complexion of the closing minutes in a close game.
100%, and the Bears have a lead to show for it, and we talked about how important some penalties have been in this one, and even a simple procedural one that lets you redo an extra point. Well, it ends up as a point for the Bears. We'll keep our eye on that as the game continues along. 7-6 is our score, and giving it a ride will be Justin Hunter. Good kick, end-over-end kick, ends up at about the 17-yard line. It is taken by Lopez. Lopez tries to find the sidelines, and he gets held up at about the 40 and is pushed out of bounds pretty hard, just past the 40 to 41-yard line.
Demon Knights wanted a flag on that one. A lot of blue jerseys gathered around, watching the end of that play along the sideline. And
I think they might have had an argument there, Joe.
I could see it, and it looked like there was some follow-through. Lopez was completely engulfed by 3 Bears along the sideline, and I think those 3 Bears helped one another down to the ground. Unfortunately for Lopez, he's the one that ended up at the bottom of that pileup.
In any event, after a long conversation, the Empire State Demon Knights will have themselves some pretty good field position here. The ball will be spotted at the 41-yard line. Officially a 24-yard return for Lopez on that one. And we've seen a couple of umbrellas coming out here, Joe, so might be some weather happening in front of us, although we don't really see it through our screened window here. But it is raining just a little bit.
It's raining more than a little bit. If you look at the bleacher seating, it's starting to come down now. And we mentioned it during the pregame. That certainly could be a factor. Now, I checked the forecast for the coming hours here in Hillburn, and that forecast has actually improved. There was a severe thunderstorm watch. There still is. However, our immediate area is not slated for any thunder or any lightning, at least as of now. But we do have rain in the forecast through 8, maybe 9 o'clock.
Yeah, and just a programming note, we are inside and safe, but our camera is outside under some cover. But if it gets dangerous and if there's lightning in the area, of course, we will step aside and, of course, come back with our camera set up indoors. Lopez now, right side, and he gets pushed out of bounds once again, probably back to the original line of scrimmage. And we've seen them try to stretch that play out a number of times, Joe. There's just nothing happening.
And that's the second consecutive play where Lopez has been thrown into his team's bench. There you see it along the near side. And the bleachers fairly large here at the Joseph T. St. Lawrence Sports Complex. And they obstructed the view a bit of the Demon Knights sideline. Lopez gingerly making his way back to the huddle after that tackle.
Yep, and of course, he's a big part of this team's offense and prides himself on being the EFA's leading rusher each and every year. I'm sure there'll be a time where we catch up to him over the course of this season. They officially ruled it as a loss of 1 on the play, so this will be a 2nd down and 11 from the 40. We talked about the Demon Knights really benefiting from being able to stay on schedule, get some yards on first down, and keep their playbook wide open, and this, of course, puts a damper into that. Caballero has been good throwing the ball in this one, but he does have the interception from when the Demon Knights were in close and could not register after being deep inside the red zone. Under center, fake handoff. Looks like he might take it himself. That was a busted play. I don't believe Caballero expected to be in the backfield by himself. He was looking to get that ball out, and it's going to be a loss of 3 yards on the play.
And not having the opportunity to throw that ball away certainly hurts, as the Demon Knights will now have a 3rd down and long. Here you'll get another look at it. And you said it, Dave. Appeared a bit surprised to find himself alone in the backfield, and not much blocking on that right side of the offensive line, either on that play, likely because of the miscommunication. Something certainly went awry for the Demon Knights, and Caballero rolled right into the pressure.
So officially 3rd down and 14. And so the Demon Knights now, after surrendering a touchdown on their last drive, in danger here of going 3 and out on this one. High snap. Caballero able to wrestle it down, gets it over to Ray. Ray has to backpedal, gets to the original line of scrimmage. Now, there is a flag, and it's deep in the backfield, and this could be a late hit, Joe, and if it is, the Demon Knights are going to have a 1st down.
And if that is indeed the case, that is a killer penalty committed by the Bears in that spot. call coming up in just a few moments as we get another look. And there's no question about it, Dave. That's a late hit.
Absolutely.
Not only a late hit, but also a high hit.
Right.
As there may have been helmet-to-helmet contact with the quarterback.
Caballero is a tough guy, but he stood in there, delivered the ball, and Bears continued their play against him. And that is what would have been a 4th and 10 is now an automatic first down for the Demon Knights inside of Bears territory. So the penalties are starting to show some difference here. We've seen it on both drives. And the Demon Knights with a golden opportunity here as they're about 40 yards behind the line of scrimmage. Now they race up, try and get a play off before the clock expires on them.
And very quickly, Dave, you said it, penalties are becoming the difference in this game. The Bears were able to overcome plenty of those on their last drive. The Demon Knights committed a penalty on the goal line on their previous drive, and that last penalty keeps this drive alive for Empire State. 1st and 10 from about the 44-yard line of New York.
So fresh set of downs here for Empire State. Caballero under center. Lopez will take it right side again, gets stood up, and second effort's able to bounce forward for about a couple of yards.
Nice job there by Lopez to bounce off of a hit and turn what would have been no gain into a gain of about 2. And it's just so important not to move backwards on first down, not to get stopped at the line of scrimmage. Keep moving forward, as in most cases in EFA play, you're going to have 4 plays to pick up a first down. We don't see very many punts, especially in plus territory.
We haven't really seen the Demon Knights run to the left side much in this one. Lopez really hasn't had a lot of success stretching it out to the right side. They have been able to get some yards right up the A-gaps. We'll see what they decide to do here on 2nd down and 8. But positive yards, of course, a plus. So the Demon Knights go backwards on their first 2 plays to start this drive. 2nd down and 8. Same formation here. Caballero barking out some signals. He will go back to pass. Good pressure here. They look deep and nobody home as Caballero puts it into open space as he gets sandwiched again in the backfield. And that time, Gerard Revanche was eating him up.
Omar Edwards was the intended target on that throw. But once again, Caballero impressively standing tall in the pocket and firing a throw down the field in the face of heavy pressure. 2 defensive linemen closing in, and he was poised to take another big hit in that spot. To his credit, stood tall and got the football away, and we've seen that pay off more than once already for him in this game on a couple of throws to A.J. Ray.
And one of the Demon Knights' big weapons, A.J. Ray, right now on the sideline, really stretching out his right leg. He came off and really slammed his helmet to the ground. So we hope that he's okay. He's been a big weapon so far, but he's on his back on the sideline. And it's a 3rd and 8 here for the Demon Knights, who will have to convert without him on this play. Big pressure, but getting some moves is Caballero to the 35, spins past one defender and gets a first down inside the 30. Looked like a design run all the way, Joe, and Caballero made it count.
No question about it, Dave. And DeJuan Williams had a chance to get him, and we've seen Williams involved in some very big plays in the past. He had 5 sacks. He had 4 forced fumbles last season and had a chance on that play to take Caballero down. Couldn't do it at the line of scrimmage, and the Demon Knights signal caller picks up the big first down.
Read my mind, Joe, as Williams knew he had Caballero dead to rights there, but Caballero able to slip past him and then make a nice nifty move at about the 35-yard line, which is where he needed to get to for the first down. Extends a little bit more, and another big conversion. First one due to penalty with big yardage to go, and that time Caballero does it with his legs. Inside the 30, the pitch out to Lopez. Lopez drops it, and he looked like he got back on it at about the 33-yard line. A loss of 4 on the play, and that one's on Lopez.
And a loss of 4, Dave, but it certainly could have been much worse. I think the Demon Knights will take a loss of 4 yards in that situation. We saw the Bears botch a handoff when these two teams met midway through last season, and you said it, that was on Lopez. That toss looked to be a good one, and He just mishandled it, but did a good job to recover, and oftentimes those are not recovered. That's a high-pressure situation for a running back. Lopez kept his composure and got the football back.
Could have been the Demon Knights' second turnover of the game, and we have a whistle here as we might be at the 2-minute warning. We are. So a 2-minute warning. Both teams will huddle up. And while we have a timeout, let's cut away for 30 seconds. When we come back, we'll have the final 2 minutes of half number 1. The Bears 7, ESDK 6.
Host Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
We are back here. Waning moments of the first half cut down to our 2-minute warning in a quick moving first half. A lot of running, of course, a lot of continuous clock. And it's 2nd down and 14. But one consistency, Joe, is that the Demon Knights have been able to move the football.
No question about it, Dave. And when we've seen these two offenses stall, it's typically been because of penalties. It hasn't been because of the defense sending them backwards. It's been penalties that have slowed these two teams down, especially since the first two drives, at least defensively for Empire State. They forced the Bears to punt on their first drive and had a chance to go up 2 scores, failed to do so. The Bears responded, and now Empire State hopes to get the lead back as we come out of the 2-minute warning.
2nd down and 14 here. First play inside of 2 minutes coming up. Caballero out of the shotgun. Decent protection, throws it out into the flat and straightened up, and getting back to the line of scrimmage was Justin Stewart. Good job of avoiding that initial wave of the defense and getting it back to about the original line of scrimmage.
And Revanche almost got a hand on that football as Caballero let it go. He just got it around the big mitt of the Bears defensive lineman. And once again, the Demon Knights take what was very nearly a loss on a first down play, or I should say on any play, not a first down play specifically, but nonetheless, they turn a loss into no net gain, maybe a loss of 1, but it certainly could have been far worse if that play had ended behind the line of scrimmage.
I should mention the clock is moving here. ESDK with all 3 of their timeouts remaining, but they do not want to leave any time on the clock for the Bears. They have themselves a 3rd down and 10. You'd like to think Caballero will put it up here. He's out of the shotgun. Lopez to his left. Does have time on this one, looking towards the sideline. That hung up there, and it was nearly intercepted. Sawicki had to stop his route to try and get to that, and it was broken up. Nice job by Berrio Smith on the play defensively. 4th down and 11.
And Sawicki had the size advantage on that play, but that throw just a bit short. Once again, Caballero forced to stand tall in the midst of heavy pressure, and the Bears have done a good job getting to him on this drive.
Right.
They do officially have the 1 sack, if I'm not mistaken. That came on what looked to be a broken play, but they've had consistent pressure around the Demon Knights quarterback, and I think it paid off on that last play once again.
Yeah, they are certainly getting home now on Caballero, and Revanche has been the stalwart there on the right side of the defense. He's getting in on every play, and now they have to go down the field. 4th down and 11. They need to get to the 19-yard line for a first down. Caballero does have some time, and that one is punched down by Revanche. You mentioned it, I mentioned it, Joe. He's been everywhere, and they went to his side, and he made them pay the price.
Well, he just missed swatting down the screen pass earlier on that set of downs. He did not miss this one, and I'm not sure there was much to be gained there, as it looked like Lopez was immediately going to take a hit on that play from Charter. Now, after that play ended, the Demon Knights were pointing in the direction of New York, hoping for a penalty. They do not get the call, so barring a turnover or a very quick 3-and-out, it doesn't look like Empire State will get the chance to take the lead into halftime. The Bears certainly hope not.
Right.
And at the very least, if you're New York, you'd like to pick up a first down here and go into the locker room with the lead. That being said, they do have a timeout, and they should have close to about a minute at least to drive down the field and potentially look to add on. Keep in mind, Dave, we mentioned it before, they do have a kicker. That could come into play here.
Yeah, by my count, there's got to be about 1:15 left. And you mentioned it, the Bears down to their final timeout. So whatever they do, they have to do it in a bit of a hurry. They need to go 70 yards on this drive, maybe less if the field goal's in play. Rodriguez looking far sideline, and that one is skipped in the turf in front of Patio. Second down.
Well, Patio, a newcomer to this Bears roster this season, and he has been heavily featured early in this game, as he clearly has been the favorite target of Juan Rodriguez so far, and you have to wonder how much of a chance the Demon Knights had to prepare for that.
Right, exactly, and you know, these two teams will meet twice this season. They'll meet again later on during the year at Granny Road in Long Island, where by then they'll know each other a little bit better. Procedural movement in the Bears' backfield, and that got the Demon Knights offside. Looks like Shane Barker, who I believe we also saw on the New York Legion last year, Joe, guilty of the shuffle in the backfield.
Well, being back for Season 2 of our coverage of the EFA, Season 6 of the league as a whole, gives us the opportunity to come in a bit more familiar with these players. And a lot of names we recognize on these rosters from last year. And a lot of new faces we've become quickly accustomed to tonight, like Patio. Some players changing teams. I don't believe I saw anyone on the Demon Knights roster that was at any of the skill positions for other teams last year. Those are the players that we saw quite a bit in our weekly highlight reels and recaps. But it looks like there may have been a timeout called, or perhaps the officials are once again discussing something.
It was an official timeout, Joe. I saw the ruling there. And now they give the penalty to the Demon Knights. So after the long conversation, the Demon Knights called for the penalty, and it will be a 2nd down and 5. So we'll put a timeout back on the board for the Bears.
Rain's coming down, Dave.
And it is, yeah. We now see it, and you could see it on your screen. We'll keep an eye out, of course, on our equipment out there. Make sure Nick is all right. And so it'll be 2nd down and 5 coming up at the 35-yard line after all of this. Figure about 1:15 remaining. And now they're moving the ball back. I think there's some miscommunication here, or trying to determine what's going on. So now they moved it behind the line of scrimmage.
Well, Dave, the officials had a miscommunication, and there was a very animated back and forth there as they respotted the football. The penalty was initially called on the Bears, and one official thought that that call had been overruled. It, in fact, had not been overruled, and instead was confirmed. So it is a false start against New York. It is 2nd down and 15. And as we near the end of a first half that had been moving with a very nice pace to it, it has come to a screeching halt with that last call.
Absolutely. Well, at the very least, they got the call right, so it's 2nd down and 15. And after the restart, here we go. The give is up the middle and getting back to the line of scrimmage. And a little bit more that time was Barker past the 30-yard line. It'll be a 3rd down and 9. And the clock is running here. The Demon Knights, with all 3 timeouts, opting not to stop the clock. So that's interesting as well. And now we do have a whistle. No, we do not.
Well, we had a whistle.
We did.
Just not for a timeout.
All right. And movement again for the Bears.
Now, are you surprised the Demon Knights didn't use a timeout? With the rain coming down as it is, I'm a bit surprised.
Yeah, you know what? Yes and no for me, Joe. You know, I think you're on the doorstep of the half. Maybe you try to cut your losses. The Bears just opting to run out the clock. Now on a 3rd down and 14, and the clock stopped now, maybe that changes things after the result of this play. But I could certainly see it too, Joe. They wanting to stop the clock because then you force a punt. Maybe you throw the house at the punter and look to get a block. A lot of things can go wrong.
We spoke about it during the pregame. If there are two teams that can contend with wet weather, it's these two. Both balanced attacks. We've seen the Demon Knights air it out as much as they have in the last couple of seasons of games we've covered here on PDF. Demon Knights have thrown the ball far more than we're accustomed to seeing and have done so very successfully in this game. The blemish for the Bears in this first half, the big blemish, has been the penalties. They got off to a bit of a slow start offensively, but have certainly found their footing since.
And 2 on this drive. And, Joe, I take full responsibility because when we went to the 2-minute warning, I said in a quick-moving first half, and then boom.
It's true.
The truck hit us in the announcer's jinx.
It was alive and well late last month when we were covering the New York State Little League Baseball Championship. I jinxed away 3 no-hitters.
Well, if we are nothing but consistent, we are consistent. And it is a 3rd and 14 when we come back. And from what we know, there's about a minute and 10, a minute and 15 remaining. ESDK with all 3 timeouts remaining, the Bears with 1. And interesting to see how the Bears choose to play this 3rd down and long. 3 wide receivers certainly spread, but the give is underneath. And making a few men miss, and a first down at the 50-yard line was Trey Myers. And now we'll have whistles because potentially the clock will stop. And is that it? No.
That's it, Dave.
Yes, so that is it. So enough time ran down on the previous plays to make it the end of that. Nice run that time by Myers.
He paid for it, Dave.
Yeah, I was going to say, thankfully he looks to be okay after taking a shot in the top of the crown. But we are officially at halftime. The New York Bears with a 1-point lead over the Empire State Demon Knights. Both teams with a touchdown in this one, and we are through 30 minutes complete. Your score is the Bears 7, the Demon Knights 6. We've approached halftime. Stay with us. You're watching the EFA on the PDF Sports Network.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great having you.
Incredible women. I wish they had those kind of cool careers for women when we were growing up.
So in this flashback, we're all the same age?
Yeah.
What does everyone want to be when they grow up?
If I say 2 jobs, do I get extra credit?
No.
I want to make immersive video games. I want to revolutionize 3D printing. I want to analyze data from the cloud.
I want to be a meteor.
You mean meteorologist?
No.
That's great, Al. Follow your dreams.
For the record, I was a baby in the 70s.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
Put a frog in a pot of boiling water and it'll jump right out. But put a frog in a pot of cool water and slowly heat it up, and that frog will boil. It's a lie. But as a metaphor for us and all that we go through as veterans,
real-world experience.
it's a story that rings true. We make excuses for how we feel. We push everything down. We tell ourselves the lie that it's easier to stay in that boiling water, to disconnect. And some days, maybe, it is. But you've never been interested in easy. Reaching out is hard. Do it anyway. You're not alone. You've got this. You are not a frog.
Find resources at va.gov/reach.
When it comes to making plans, you are the best. The same way you plan each detail for those moments. Start planning to protect you and your loved ones from a natural disaster. Protecting your family is the best plan you can make.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
We are back here, halftime between the Empire State Demon Knights and the New York Bears. Joe, we said it at the top, these two teams could figure into an EFA championship down the road. Both teams feel like they have the goods. And so far they've treated us to an entertaining 30 minutes. It hasn't been perfect. It's been sloppy at times, as we'd expect in an initial game, but these two teams are making their presence felt.
For the Bears, a bit of a slow start offensively, but they found their footing later in that first half. The negative for them was the penalties. Right. The penalties really set back their scoring drive. They overcame that. Penalties continued to plague them late in that first half and perhaps cost them a chance to put more points on the board. As for Empire State, they were very strong defensively early and weren't terrible defensively on the Bears' scoring drive either. However, the Bears were able to methodically move the ball up the field and eventually get on the board for the first time. That being said, if you're Empire State, you have to be happy with only 7 points allowed in the first half. On the other side of the ball, offensively, you have to think Empire State would have liked to score one more time in that first half. They had opportunities. I believe they had 3 separate drives take them into plus territory. They only scored once. They had goal to go twice in that first half, scored on one of those 2 opportunities. So a pretty well-balanced first half for Empire State on the offensive side as well, rushing and throwing. You have to think they like that. I think if there's one thing they'll look to improve upon in half number 2, it's finishing those drives once they get across the midfield marker.
Well said, Joe. Both teams, of course, still deliberating on their respective sidelines and ends of the field. What we will do is we will step out, take another break. When we come back, we'll get you ready for the second half. The good news is that the rain has kind of relented here, so we should have, the threats of thunderstorms and lightning in the area has at least swept by us for a little bit. So that's good news. When we come back, we hope to get our third quarter started from right here in Torrance Valley. Once again, your halftime score, the Bears 7, Demon Knights 6. Stay with us. This is the EFA on PDF Sports Network.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. He's here. He's here.
Wait.
What? I can't drive. Why?
I'm high.
Oh.
East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
You're so right for me, and I'm right for you. I love the things you do, like sweet tasting wine. Your lips are so divine. Your loving turns me on. My lonely days are gone. That's why I'm never gonna let you go. Never gonna let you go, babe. I'm never gonna let you go. No, no, never gonna let you go.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com. Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com. East Coast Trophies and Awards has been serving your awards needs since 1986 and is now a proud sponsor of the PDF Sports Network. From sports-specific trophies and plaques to corporate and business promotions and gifts, East Coast Trophies and Awards is your one-stop shop for all of your crowning achievements, and they always meet the right price. Contact Chris today at 848-223-7071 or visit them at www.eastcoastawards.com.
Welcome back here, Torrance Valley, Hillburn, New York, as we are getting set for the start of the third quarter. Had some youth football on the field, Joe, entertaining the crowd, which the good news is that the rain has stopped here, which is great. Great for us, great for the fans who are enjoying this as well. And as we get, of course, under the lights, just some brilliant visuals here, the mountains that we could see in the distance for us, and just a gorgeous place to play, a great facility. And we're going to be back here next week, Joe, when the Legion come aboard.
Well, excited to get a look at another team in the EFA lineup, the New York Legion, making their season debut, as you mentioned earlier, and they will take on this same New York Bears team. So the Bears will get 2 games in 2 weeks. They'll then have a week off, perhaps 2 weeks off with the Labor Day weekend as well. So 2 weeks off for the Bears before they get back into action on what would be the weekend of September 9th. And in week 3 of the season, we mentioned it before, we will travel to Granny Road, and Empire State will take on the New York Bandits in their season debut. So in case you missed it during the pregame, we mentioned it earlier. 4 teams returning to the EFA from last season, and after 3 weeks of the season, we will have seen all 4 of them.
Right.
Bears twice, the Demon Knights twice, and the Bandits and Legion once each.
Yeah, and, we don't want to give false information. Obviously, every game counts, and these games are all important. And we talked about how important it is for both of these teams to really get off to the right track. But I almost look at these first 3 weeks, Joe, as kind of like a preseason ramp-up to what we're going to see midseason, because you have all 4 teams playing, some of them playing twice, most of them playing once. Then you get the Labor Day break where everybody just kind of hits the reset button. And then September 9th, things get real. And that's when you start jockeying for position. And it should be great adding some of the teams from the XEFL, coming aboard and playing some crossover games with the EFA. Should be a lot of fun as we roll the calendar into October and then, of course, November and maybe even the first weekend of December with a potential bowl game between those 2 leagues.
Well, taking a look at the program for the season that we outlined earlier, I really don't see a way that these teams don't end up playing into December or at the very least late November.
Agreed.
So we could be calling some games in some winter weather. There's certainly a chance for that now. We probably hope that doesn't happen for the sake of our outdoor camera. And
sure.
I think for the game's sake, you'd rather not see it played in a blizzard, but that possibility certainly on the table if the season were to extend that late. Now, something else we spoke about last year ahead of the first Kickoff Classic we covered here on PDF in 2022 is that these teams draft their home and road opponents for their schedule. Curious to know if they did that again this year despite the decrease in the size of the league.
Yeah, well, at first, it almost seemed like natural that teams would just play each other twice, and that would be that.
Yeah.
And maybe it was the order in which you played them that might change. But
the venue.
Right, the venue and at what time of the year do you see that team? So, we should mention that this opening week was supposed to feature potentially the Bandits playing the Bears, but because of the reshuffling with the schedule, both of these teams decided they would be the ones to kick off the season. And speaking of kicking off, the second half kickoff will get underway and commence momentarily. The Demon Knights will have the ball first. Hunter gets into this one and spills it towards the right side of the field. Taking it there is Stewart. Stewart making one man miss and is bounced short of the 40-yard line, where the Demon Knights will have possession. And Joe, just buttoning up some of our discussion on the EFA, we were supposed to see potentially the Long Island Mercenaries make themselves back into the EFA after a 3-year absence, but they choosing instead not to participate this season. And a lot of the players, because there were quite a bunch of them from the Long Island Mercenaries team, lending themselves to the depth of some of the other EFA teams. So that made the 4 existing EFA teams a lot stronger too.
And that's something that's going to be very interesting moving forward in this season. We spoke about it earlier in the broadcast. The Legion and the Bandits combined for 2 wins last season. The 2 teams, of course, that we haven't seen yet, the 2 teams out there on the field tonight, make up the rest of the EFA this season. But those 2 teams will benefit from the depth offered by the Mercenaries, instead choosing to disperse their players across the league. And I think the Bandits will be a team that is certainly going to benefit from that, as we've heard that many of those mercenary players now choosing to join the Bandits. And there's going to be an opportunity for those players to make a big impact on a team that is looking to win their first game in the last 2 seasons. And they had opportunities last year, played a very close game against this Demon Knights team, nearly came away with the victory in that one. So when those 2 teams meet in week 3, that's definitely a date to mark down on your calendars looking ahead to a matchup a couple of weeks away in Elite Football Alliance play.
Yeah, Bandits looking to win back some of that moxie that they've had, and of course many years ago dominating the semi-pro football scene here in New York. And Joe, we're going to have a redo of the kickoff because both teams were guilty of procedural offsetting penalties on the last kickoff, so they are going to reboot here this second half. So you mentioned it, penalties, one of the keys in the first half, and we start off with one on each side.
Well, that was summed up pretty well by the public address announcer. We'll pretend that never happened because after a few seconds it became clear they were getting reset for another kickoff, and we'll try it again here.
And that was after another lengthy delay, and that one ends up end over end at the 15-yard line. It will be Stewart again. Has hands put on him at about the 30, manages to get it over to the 35, to the 37. where the Demon Knights will have it just about the same field position they had the first time they kicked off. That was at the 39. So net loss of 2 for the Demon Knights after those penalties.
And we've seen games where penalties have really halted the pace of play. Early in this game, we were moving right along, and then someone mentioned how quickly we had reached the 2-minute warning, and all of a sudden, things came to a screeching halt.
Yep.
Guilty as charged.
Right. Put the blame on me. 37-yard line is where the Demon Knights will take over, and it's essentially, I mean, obviously the Demon Knights are down on the scoreboard, but it's just about a 0-0 game here. So Demon Knights score, they get the lead back, and that's what they have to do here is get more touchdowns than the Bears in this half. So we had another whistle here as I think the chain gang is getting themselves set up. So the Demon Knights with a little extra time here to strategize.
Well, we had one situation last year. It was one of the most comical moments on any of our EFA broadcasts. There was some PDA going on between the two members of the chain gang on the sideline, and the chains were left resting down on the turf.
Well, so were the people operating them.
Yes, they were, without going into much detail. But it was one of the funniest moments of the year covering the EFA, and the officials' reaction was even better. Priceless.
Looks like everybody is set up here. Caballero will work under center. Demon Knights down by a point here. It's a direct keeper for Caballero. He goes up the middle, gets about 8 yards on the play. Wow, it's almost like the seas parted on that, Joe.
I was fooled. I had no idea where the football was, so good job to follow it, Dave. I lost the football, and that's a gain of 8 on first down. We'll get a second look here.
And it looks like he got the snap, and then the offensive line just let him go. And that was Spencer in the middle of it all. Number 77, of course, with that lead block.
And no one had to do much because the defense parted like the Black Sea. All those black jerseys were protecting against the toss to the outside.
Well, where the Demon Knights have had some success is running it right up the gut, Joe. I mean, they haven't had a tremendous amount of success with it, but that's the success that they've had, and here we go. First down, past the 50, and into Bears territory goes Lopez, hard yards, and a first down.
You have to love the footwork by Lopez on that drive. Made a couple of tacklers miss and then continued to keep the legs churning. He fought forward for a few extra yards at the end of that run. 2 carries, 1 on first down, 1 on second down. Empire State has their first down in the second half, and they are just outside of the New York 40-yard line early in this third quarter.
Yeah, he shed Deshaun Frazier really well in the backfield. That could have been a loss of 1 or 2 instead. Nice, healthy gain. And the Demon Knights once again in Bears territory. Ball spotted at the 43-yard line. Demon Knights, just like Joe mentioned at halftime, they've been able to move the football. They just haven't really been able to capstone drives, with the exception of their opening one. And there's the same play again with Caballero going right up the middle. Now flags do come down this time, as I saw movement, and so did the near line judge. They'll discuss it and figure out who's guilty. Looks like it'll be on the Demon Knights. Actually, no, it's against the Bears. Encroachment.
If you're the Bears, you hate to see the second half get started like that. A couple of big runs by Empire State on their first 2 plays, and then a defensive penalty that New York clearly does not agree with.
So it'll negate the gain of 2 or 3 and instead make it a 1st and 5. And this is the other thing that really helped the Demon Knights on that first drive when they scored their lone touchdown, is being able to stay on schedule, keep the chains moving, and at least the ball moving forward, not getting caught up in those 2nd and 3rd and longs. Now on 1st and 5, pretty open playbook here for Caballero, who will work in the Snugs formation under center, Lopez behind him. The give is to Lopez, right side, and he lost his footing. Tried to bounce off a defender. Nowhere to go. No gain. 2nd and 5.
And I think that was the right move to try and bounce that toward the outside, but the body contact with his blocker and potentially a defensive lineman caused Lopez to stumble out of the backfield, as you'll see here on the replay, And the blocking on that play looked pretty good. I think there was a hole there outside of right tackle and inside of the two receivers blocking on the outside. If memory serves me correctly, thinking back to last year, it seems like Empire State has lined up their receivers and tight ends a bit further off the line of scrimmage at times than we saw last year. I don't think this particular play is an example of that, but we have seen it where the receivers have been offset just a bit wider than we saw for most of last season.
2nd down and 5. The fake handoff. Caballero looking to take it himself. Has to go wide just to try to get back to the original line of scrimmage. He might have been successful in doing so. It will be a 3rd and 5. Design keeper from the start, Joe, and he kind of had to arc his way around the defense, and by that time, he can only gain the line of scrimmage.
Well, they had a 1st and 5, and they haven't made much of it here on these last 2 plays. Now, something to keep in mind in a spot like this, you have to think Caballero can throw that ball away as well. That's an option, is it not?
It is, and you probably don't want to run that play into the waiting arms of Gerard Revanche, who's been tremendous at right defensive end for the Bears. And he almost gobbled up Caballero in the backfield. 3rd down and 5 in what we would assume would be 4-down territory here. Demon Knights taking a long time in their huddle. They begin to unpeel. And we'll see what they have to offer us here.
I don't think there's any doubt they'll go for it on 4th down. So 2 plays to get 4 yards.
In motion is Sawicki. And Caballero is able to get away. Backs up to the 50, looking sideline. There is nobody there. He threw that one completely away. And take your pick on how to pick apart that play, Joe. Caballero didn't even have time to face in front of him before he had defenders on top. Look, he doesn't even have a chance to give it to Ray on the end around, which I think was the play design.
Well, I'll give dissecting that play a shot. Williams had a chance to sack him, and he had to believe he had him in the grasp because it looked like he just let him go. And I think there has to be intentional grounding on that play, which
there is a flag.
I believe there is.
And it is in the backfield.
I think that's the right call. There was nobody there. Now, Lopez was the nearest Demon Knight, but that ball sailed about 30 yards over his head.
Right.
And the only person with an opportunity to get his hands on it there was Isaiah Berrios-Smith in the secondary for New York. But that ball was over his head as well, and the Bears sideline was immediately calling for the intentional grounding.
Yeah, and it is a loss of down, too. So it will be 4th down and 15. And you said it before, Joe, from a 1st and 5, unsuccessful at really doing anything. And now the ball's at the 48-yard line, 4th and 15. Now, Caballero is also the team's punter. So he will line up out of the shotgun, and you kind of don't know what he might do. Although it does appear that he will kick this as some of his wideouts going wide as gunners. Well, we'll see.
It's so hard to tell. I think you have to punt this.
It's an awful deep snap, and he will punt, and it's a good one. And over, and it will drop at about the 15-yard line. It will take a Demon Knights bounce and will end at the 12.
And that's a great punt by
Well
Caballero.
done.
We've spoken about how important it is to have a kicker, but how about how important it is to have a solid punter? And Caballero certainly fits that description, as that ball came to rest right along the near sideline. Not only did that give a chance for his gunners to get there, but it left no opportunity for the Bears to return it either. And that's sometimes equally important on those kicks.
100%, because the Bears, one of their trademarks last year was their tremendous special teams play, especially their return game. And that really has been non-existent today by design for this Demon Knights team. And the Bears will have it 1st and 10 under the shadow of their own end zone. The ball spotted officially at the 12-yard line. Maybe less, maybe about the 11.
Now, earlier in the game, the Demon Knights had a chance to give the ball to the Bears, backed up against their own end zone. Couldn't. This punt puts the Bears in the shadow of their own goalpost. We'll see if the Demon Knights defense could make a play here.
And it is Myers who starts in the backfield, but it looks like Romero is back there as well. They spread from there. And the give is underneath. And nice job by Myers to hurdle over one defender. He clears the 20, the 25, the 30, and has pounced out of bounds at the 33-yard line. Gain of 22 on the play, and the Bears are in good shape.
Well, the Bears make a play to open up that drive as a late flag comes in, and the Demon Knights are clapping. So this might go against the Bears, and if it does, that's a killer personal foul. And there's a great move by Myers to avoid a low tackle attempt, and after that, he had tremendous blocking in front of him. Let's see if we can spot what happened. And the replay doesn't go that far, but there were some extracurriculars at the end of that play, and we'll wait and see what the call is.
But we will get the official signal here. Unsportsmanlike conduct. It's on the Bears, so that'll back them up. The first down will stand, Joe, so I was able to eavesdrop in on that and hear that out of things. So it'll be a first down at about maybe the 18-yard line.
That personal foul went against Jalen White.
Yep, and it negated a big run there, but you said it, Joe. Good block, good downfield blocking as well by the wide receivers for the Bears. Myers, of course, did the initial job, but then just had to follow the convoy out of bounds. First down. Ball spotted at the 18-yard line. We are in the opening stages of the third quarter. Demon Knights could not advance on their first possession. This is the Bears' first possession of half number 2. A lot of late substitutions coming in and out for both teams as they get situated. And now the play clock will start.
These penalties have slowed down a Bears offense that has really picked it up since late in the first quarter, early in the second quarter. And once again, they'll be forced to overcome a big 15-yarder, though it is still 1st and 10, so keep that in mind as well.
Once again, 2 running backs set, the fake, and now the keeper for Rodriguez, and he is going to throw that one away outside the pocket. And it looked like he wanted to run it at first, but with the defense converging, and decides to get rid of it.
Well, the Demon Knights saying he was past the line of scrimmage, and I think he was close.
We'll be the judge of that.
Line of scrimmage about the 20. I think officially it was the 18.
No, I think he danced around it.
Now, did he ever cross is the question.
Exactly.
Didn't look like it there. Now, the announcement was that the line of scrimmage was the 18. It looks like it might be the 19, so I don't think he crossed the line of scrimmage. I think that was a good no call.
Right. I agree with you there. 2nd down and 10.
Rodriguez in the shotgun.
Same formation as the previous play. And now the throw in the flat, and it could not be controlled. And it will be a 3rd down. Like Tyler Williams was the intended receiver.
Now, Williams had a couple of steps of space in front of him were he to catch that football, but he also had 4 blue jerseys closing in. So there wasn't going to be much to be had there. If I have to guess, he would have probably tried to take that toward the sideline for a short gain. But once again, 3rd and long. And if you're the Demon Knights here and can send the Bears into a 4th down, you might have a chance to get the ball in very good field position.
That's what they're hoping for. We'll see if the Demon Knights bring some pressure here, as Rodriguez has had a good, clean pocket last few times he's had to throw. He's going to step up in that pocket, look to go near the sideline, and it's caught by Patio. He's been the man all game long for the Bears in the passing game inside Demon Knights territory, and the Bears are able to convert.
Another tremendous throw on the move by Rodriguez. We have seen it time and time again. Good pocket awareness to step up, and even better, throw on the run following that step up in the pocket as Patio, who has been his #1 target all night, makes another big reception down the field, and now the Bears are in business inside of the Empire State 40-yard line.
And you mentioned how good Rodriguez has been throwing on the run, and that was another example, stepping up in that pocket. The give is to the left side, and scurrying for yards is Raheem Ridley. I believe he's the 4th running back to get a carry in this game. Goes ahead for about 6. Now, there was a flag that came down. At least I thought there was. Perhaps not. Hard to tell sometimes with the Bears wearing yellow sneakers out there. So there was no flag. And it'll be a 2nd down and about 4.
Well, something to monitor as the Bears move deeper into Empire State territory. A field goal for New York would effectively make this a 1-touchdown game. In fact, it certainly would, with a 4-point lead. So if they get close enough, they don't have to score a touchdown.
Rodriguez brings Petty in motion. Takes the snap, gives
The
right
give
side.
once again to Ridley. And this time he gets stood up. Maybe a gain of 1. Plenty of blue jerseys there to break things up. Looks like Lambert was in there as well. And it will be a 3rd down and about 3 or 4.
These next 2 plays, maybe even just 1 play if the Bears can pick up this 1st down, will be huge in this game. Bears connecting on that big pass, keeping the drive alive, and it looked like Empire State might have an opportunity to get the ball back deep in New York territory. Instead, Empire State now finds their defense getting backed up toward their own end zone. And we've seen them come away with some big stops on 3rd and 4th down in this game. They'll look for 1 on 3rd down right here.
Patio is at the bottom of your screen. He has been one of the big-time players here. A timeout has been called by the Bears. They want to discuss this one. Knowing the point of the game and how big this drive can be, the Bears use their first timeout.
Well, we've seen situations where the Bears have been whistled for some costly penalties and big spots throughout this game. So wisely, they use a timeout to make sure that they get everything situated ahead of this 3rd down and 3 snap. And we were in a similar spot before. 4th down and short. The entire playbook is open. And if you're the Bears, I think priority number 1 has to be avoid a pre-snap penalty. Priority number 2, make sure that this play goes for positive yardage. If this play goes for positive yards, at the very worst, you have a 4th down and 2. And that's a very manageable situation to be in. Can't take a sack here. Can't commit a pre-snap penalty.
Well, Joe, I'll put you in head coach Jason Walker's shoes. What's your call here?
I think we've seen them go to the screen game quite a bit. Now, Ralston Romero's in the game. He's certainly a candidate to run it. But taking a look toward the near side with 2 receivers set there, I think the bubble screen could be likely. If not, a run to the right as you look at the blocking situation in the backfield. So something toward the near side is my guess.
1 deep safety for the Demon Knights. And again, Patio on the bottom of your screen, one of the highlighted players to look for. Rodriguez looks on the opposite side, coming back in, making the catch for the 1st down and more. Once again, that was Raheem Ridley, who kind of has emerged on this drive, Joe. We didn't see much of him at all in the first half.
That's why I'm not the head coach, Dave. They had an extra blocker and 2 receivers on the right. Instead, they set up a 1-on-1 for Ridley, who we saw get a rep at running back. And that's a tough assignment on the outside, a player capable of coming in as a running back, working 1-on-1 against a corner, and Ridley won that battle decisively. Well-designed play by Jason Walker.
And I think the Demon Knights thought exactly what you did, Joe, because they brought some heavy pressure from their left side where we thought that play was going to go. Went the other way. Rodriguez out of the shotgun. Ball's spotted at the 23. Heavy pressure for Rodriguez, and we do not have number 51 on our roster for the Demon Knights, but he made a heck of a play. And the first negative play of this drive, at least since they've crossed the midfield mark. And they came in a hurry.
They sure did. Rodriguez never had a chance. And going back to the previous snap, you have to wonder, was Ridley his first read? He didn't have a chance to make more than 1 read on that play. As the pressure got home, Rodriguez was able to scramble away on the previous snap. Not so there on 1st down.
Yeah, he looked up and saw number 51 in his eyesight. There's another pass near side, and Patio takes it and will take it inside the 5. Old Faithful Tyler Patio making another play near side, makes the defender miss. 1st and goal, Bears.
Well, even on the passes his way that have gone for incompletions, Patio is winning on his routes. He is getting open. He is sitting down in just the right spots When they need a first down, he has found the sticks, and in that situation on 2nd and long, he was able to win his route decisively off the break, left his quarterback with a big opening to put that football in, and then after making the catch, he was able to make a man miss and bring the Bears down inside the 5-yard line. 1st and goal from the 4 officially, and the Bears have a chance to make this a 2-score game should they decide to go for 2 following a touchdown.
Critical moment of the game here. The give inside to Myers. Myers making one miss and powers home for the touchdown.
Powerful running by Trey Myers, who has been heavily involved in the offensive game plan for New York tonight. We've seen more than one strong carry from him in this game, and he powers that one across the goal line for a New York Bears touchdown. Now, I'm interested to see whether or not they go for 2 in this spot to make it a 2-possession game. Chance to go up by 8 with the extra point. And I don't believe Rodriguez is staying out there on the field. I'm looking for him. I can't find him, so they will kick.
They're going to kick, yeah. But I'm almost in agreement with you, Joe, with the score 13-6. It's almost a 2-score game anyway, with ESDK not having a place kicker. But you ensure that there's the spot and the kick is true blue, and it is good. 14-6 is our score. And so ESDK still down by the full breadth of 1 score. A touchdown and a 2-point conversion. We are coming upon the end of the 3rd quarter here. Both teams have had the ball just once. And that was a nice kick that time by Justin Hunter.
Here in the EFA, these kickers typically have to kick under a lot more pressure incoming from the rush, as we've seen it just about every time there's been a kick attempt in our last 2 years of coverage. There have been a lot of defensive players around the football.
Yep.
Some of the kicks have been quite remarkable that we've seen in other leagues, as we've covered multiple football leagues now where kickers have had to kick through a swarm of hands and bodies, and it's not easy to do, but Hunter made it look easy right there as he splits the uprights. Now, you brought up a good point, Dave. Trailing by 7, you know Empire State was going to go for 2 anyway. In all likelihood, they don't have a kicker. So going for 2 in that spot only gives you the benefit of leading by 2 scores. By kicking there, you ensure that Empire State cannot take the lead. So I like that decision from the Bears in that spot. Ultimately, you know the Demon Knights are going for 2. There's no question. And I think that makes it a bit easier to decide, you know what, we'll kick this, and they'll have to score twice to beat us.
Right.
And I think that's the key factor in that decision, knowing that the Demon Knights will have to score twice to beat you, as the Bears have seemingly gotten stronger as this game has gone on, especially on the offensive side of the ball. This offense is really clicking now, and a huge part of that has been Tyler Patio, a newcomer to this receiving core.
Yeah, absolutely. Just when they've needed the big play, they've dialed up number 2 countless times. That one, once again, put right in the heart of the field, taken at the 20 by Lopez. Lopez looking near the sideline, gets spilled out about the 35. Now Tyler Sawicki is down, as you could see him near the left side of your screen, getting up very slowly, if he's getting up. Now he does. But Empire State, once again, on their first drive of this quarter, they were able to drive. And then, of course, on a 1st and 5, they just got hung up, ended up taking a grounding penalty that led to a 4th and 15, and that was all she wrote for that drive. But you mentioned it at halftime. We've been saying it all day. From the 20 to the 20, the Empire State Demon Knights have done a good job of moving the football. They just have not been able to cap a drive since their opening drive of the game.
You could argue their offense has been far more consistent than New York from the start of this game up until this point. Now, the Bears have really figured it out since the end of the first quarter, but the Demon Knights in this game got off to such a good start, and that has continued throughout this game on the offensive side of the ball. You said it, Dave, a point that I made before. They need to finish one of these drives, and no better time than the present, as they trail by 8 and will start from their own 36.
Under center, Caballero. The fake, and now the end around to Richards. Richards making one man miss, and he got absolutely popped. Flags come down. The Bears are not happy with the flag. It could have been helmet to helmet. We will see. But Richards was kind of spiraling out of control too. Holding call against the Demon Knights.
Well, the Bears sideline was in a frenzy, and I had a feeling that call likely wasn't going against them. Now, wasn't able to spot the penalty on that replay, but the flag came out at the moment of impact. So initially I thought they might call that against the Bears, though I don't think that would have been the correct call. And instead, Empire State will back up, and that's going to set up a 1st and 20. And now the Demon Knights beginning to suffer from penalties just a bit.
Yeah, and that run only went for about a yard. So the Bears opting to make this a 1st and 20 over a 2nd and 9, pretty much daring the Demon Knights to kind of move the ball up the field. And really, Joe, A.J. Ray is back in the game, but when he came out, maybe a drive into the second quarter, they really haven't been the same of a passing team since he came out of that game. And you wonder if the Demon Knights have the ability to get back to that moxie that they showed in the passing game when he was making those dynamic catches. He's on the far side of the field now.
There have certainly been fewer pass attempts, that's for sure. They've gotten a lot more creative in the running game since it looked like he was hobbled a bit.
1st and 20. Berrios Smith is now operating against Ray. Caballero looking on the sideline in the direction of Sawicki, but that's off of his fingertips and out of play. That pass was high. 2nd down and 20.
Commentators jinx perhaps on that one. As soon as we mention the slowdown in the number of passing attempts, the Demon Knights looked to pass, and that wasn't a bad ball from Caballero. It looked like it went through the hands of Sawicki. He was open. And that throw was high, but he had a chance. Remember, 1 foot in bounds for a completion here in the EFA.
Yeah, good point. The EFA uses NFL rules with the exception of just a few, and one of them is the 1 foot in bounds rule. The other, of course, is the extra points that we saw coming from the same yard line as 2-point conversions. A couple of other ones, too. Pass interference penalties result in 15 yards and a 1st down rather than spot of the ball. 2nd down and 20. Caballero once again operating out of the shotgun. Lopez to his left. High snap. He does field it clean. Revenge is on his way in to meet him. And Caballero somehow got out of it, but he's going to get popped down about 4 or 5 yards further back. I think finishing him off was Damon Davis.
Well, Caballero has started to take a beating in this game, and as this game has gone on.
And Sean Spencer down now for the Demon Knights.
He's slowly working his way to his feet, but as this game has gone on, there has been more and more pressure around the Demon Knights quarterback, and you have to think that's impacted their passing game in a big way, as we mentioned before.
Yeah, a couple of bodies kind of falling into the backs of one another. It's like Sean Spencer got rolled on. Now he's making his way back to the sideline, appears to be okay. But 3rd down and 24, and we say this a lot too, not a lot of plays in the playbook for this. Although you'd guess there's going to be some go routes here on this play.
The Bears defense, along with their offense now, has really begun to step up in this game, and Demon Knights haven't had many drives come to abrupt ends, but they're staring in the face of a 3-and-out right here on 3rd and long. And perhaps they'll look for a flag or another big play to A.J. Ray. I would not be surprised to see Ray double covered.
And the way the Bears have been getting to the quarterback, you'd almost expect them to just rush their 4, drop everybody back in coverage with 24 yards to go. They indeed rushed 4. Rodriguez with some time. Catches made by Richards. He was slipping down. Now his helmet comes off. Put out of bounds at the 35-yard line. Now that's close to the original line of scrimmage, but it will be 4th and long coming up.
That was a very dangerous play after Richards lost the helmet because he took what was nearly a helmet-to-head shot at the end of that play. And the Bears have put some punishing hits on the Demon Knights so far, and there you see it, a violent end to that play.
Well, the Bears certainly finishing off their tackles here in this one. We've seen that a lot of times near the sideline. They haven't been guilty of anything late, and it looks as if this could be a punt here from Caballero. Again, we don't know because he is also the quarterback. Timeout, it looks like Demon Knights. So they take their first of this half. That's a big one. And it probably comes right on the heels at the end of the third quarter. There can't be a lot of time remaining here in this third quarter.
Certainly not. And are you surprised to see the Demon Knights potentially lining up to go for this? Now, of course, we know Caballero, both the punter and the quarterback, but with the Bears having the option to kick, your margin for error defensively becomes much smaller. The question remains, how far out is Hunter capable of kicking from?
Right.
I think that's a big factor in this decision. Also, how confident are you that you can convert on 4th and 11?
Right.
Completions have been tough to come by for Empire State, especially since the midway point in that second quarter.
Caballero had a little bit of time to throw, and that's because the Bears only rushed their front four on that. But how surprising is this? You just don't know how important now field position is when at this point you need to score points and you're going to have to get some stops either way, whether you punt it here and give it back to the Bears and they end up at their own 30 or 40 or they take over here at your 35. Still have to get the stop. So perhaps you go for it here and take that risk. But still in the third quarter, obviously something to ponder. 4th down and 11 officially from the 35. So obviously you need to get to the 46-yard line, which is right in front of us for a first down, and it will be a punt. And again, it's a good one. Very good bounce for the Demon Knights. It ends up at the 15-yard line, and a great open field tackle by Ty Lopez.
A lot to unpack on that play, Dave, because that was nearly disastrous for the Bears. Huffin touched the ball and then let it skip a little bit more. Fortunately for him, the ball continued to bounce in his direction, and he was able to scoop it up cleanly. He then nearly made 2 Demon Knights miss, but you said it, Lopez with a huge tackle, and that prevented what could have been a very big return for Huffin.
I'm so impressed with the way Caballero could kick, really from just a standing position. It's not like he runs into those kicks. That's the end of the third quarter. So that's it. 15 minutes to go. And the Bears, down by 6 points at one point in this game, have themselves a 14-6 lead heading into the final 15 minutes. We'll take a break. When we come back, the final 15 right here from Torn Valley. Stay with us. This is the EFA on PDF Sports Network.
Attention local businesses and professionals. Isn't it time to elevate your game? Now you can advertise your business or product on PDF Sports Network. Your ad will appear on all of our broadcasts, including this one. Don't have a commercial? We'll make one for you, absolutely free. What better way to showcase your product and brand while supporting the best local sports, teams, and leagues? Call now at 732-723-8189 or visit us at pdfsportsnet.com.
Back to live action here. The Bears getting ready to start the fourth quarter. And that's an up-the-middle run by Romero. We've seen these hard yards before from Ralston Romero last season with the New York Legion. He goes ahead for about 6 or 7 yards on first down.
Spoke about it earlier. The Bears lost a couple of running backs in the offseason, but they've done a good job to bring in some more talent at that position, and Romero, a big part of that. We've gotten to look at a lot of different runners from New York tonight. All of them have contributed out of the backfield.
Yeah, I think we had 4 different ball carriers. Ralston will get it again, this time left side, makes a couple of men miss, and is put down at the 38-yard line. So perhaps Ralston fishing for some more time in the backfield, bouncing and pinballing off of a couple of defenders.
We've talked about it several times already. This Bears offense continuing to build momentum, and they've done so since the start of the second quarter. And their last several drives have all been very good. They've scored on 2 of those, but have at the very least made the Demon Knights work every time, and they nearly broke one for a touchdown at the end of the first half as well. That's the one drive that did not go for points out of the last 3.
Fresh set of downs here. The give underneath is to Myers, but that play is going to be whistled dead as we have motion against the Bears. First game of the season, there are usually a lot of things to correct, and Joe has mentioned it a few times. The pre-snap penalties for the Bears, certainly something that Coach Walker and his staff will try to get under wraps here. The Bears got to come right back next week and play again, opening up another team's season, the New York Legion.
And for much of the last 2 quarters plus now, the Bears have really been playing against penalty flags. The Demon Knights defensively have had a tough time stopping the run, and the Bears have set themselves back with penalties.
So 1st and 15 now. We'll see Rodriguez work out of the shotgun. Myers, who took the run the last play, will now stay in and block. Rodriguez on the run near the sideline, and that one is caught and held onto by Patio.
Rodriguez again on the run, but how about the strong hands from Patio on that reception? He had a defensive back swatting at that ball, trying to pry it loose on the way down, but to no avail as Patio has yet another big reception on the play. We'll have an official yardage tally for him entering next week's game, but he has been huge for the Bears here tonight, and Rodriguez continues to demonstrate mastery throwing on the move.
Yeah, I'm trying to go over in my head, Joe, if anybody else other than Patio has even caught a pass in this game for the Bears. There may have been some passes at the line of scrimmage that I remember, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think they have one other completion to a different receiver. I think one.
But down the field, it's almost been Patio the entire time. So from the Demon Knights 39, that one is incomplete.
Now, that play looks a lot like the last play that we saw in our highlight package during the pregame. And I think that was likely the call that went awry for the Bears in that game against the Demon Knights last season. We saw it during the pregame, right before kickoff. We got to look back at last year's meeting between these two teams, and it looked like there was some sort of miscommunication on a very similar play. However, Rodriguez still got the throw off to his back for a touchdown. That time, the Demon Knights had it well covered out of the backfield.
Absolutely, and Rodriguez, who missed on a couple of big throws early in this game, has really settled in nicely, and throwing on the run has really been his strength. 2nd down and 10 from the 39-yard line. Fake give underneath. The throw out into the flat is complete. And scampering down inside the 30 for another Bears first down. Stephen Mayer Jr. Looks like I got his name wrong, Joe. It's Moyer Jr. So we'll fix that. But another first down here for the Bears as they have been moving the ball very well here in this second half.
And if the Bears are given the opportunity to throw the ball short and pick up 8 to 10 yards after the catch, this offense will be unstoppable.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not much the Demon Knights could have done on that play. Moyer had a lot of room, but he made the most of it and picked up another New York first down.
Shotgun snap. Rodriguez looking right sideline once again in the direction of Patio. He makes the catch for the touchdown.
Another huge play for this Bears offense. Patio right in the middle of it as he stops that football off the field, is joined by his teammates and receives high fives and handshakes as he gives the Bears a 14-point lead. Here's another look at it. Rodriguez looking in his direction all the way. Clean pocket, go route up the sideline, and so far the Demon Knights have had no answer for New York's number one wideout Patio in this game. He is making quite the impression in his season debut.
Not bad coverage by Alex Salmeron on the play, but just put it somewhere in Patio's orbit, and he is coming down with it. Great season opener for him, extends the lead now to 14 points with a chance to make it 15 here from Justin Hunter. He's been 2 for 2 in point after attempts, and that's a line driver that goes through the uprights.
That just cleared the crossbar. I was shocked when I saw the officials throw up the made field goal signal. That one just got over the crossbar. And that is good. So the Bears are 3 for 3 on extra points tonight. Hunter has done a great job in these spots. And that one was a screamer. Good thing they had the netting behind the uprights there. A lot of kids throwing the football around and perhaps hoping for a souvenir back there.
So the Bears up by 15 points have now really pushed the Demon Knights to their breaking point. They absolutely must find some points coming up on their drive, get a stop, score again, and only touchdowns will do at this point. Demon Knights, we've seen this too, and I believe, Joe, the last time these two teams played, back when they played on the Demon Knights home field, Demon Knights scored on their opening possession of the game. They went up 6-0, and they ended up falling in that game 26-12, right? 26-12 or something to that
In the
effect.
first meeting last season, the Demon Knights got ahead early, 6-0, then led 12-8, and from there, the Bears scored 14 unanswered points and won the game 22-12, as you said.
Right.
And I think the trend for Empire State, scoring early in games and then really struggling from there on, is a bit concerning, as when the Bears defense got a look at what Empire State was doing offensively and what the game plan was, they got progressively better over the course of the game at slowing them down. On the other side, the Bears offense got off to a slow start, and they have gotten progressively stronger as the game has gone on, and that's really put the Demon Knights in a tough spot now.
Short kick ends up one of the up men on the play. And the ball will be spotted about the 42, 43-yard line for the Demon Knights. So field position, not the problem for the Demon Knights today. They've been able to move the ball, and they've been able to get started in pretty good field position. But penalties have hurt them, and, of course, going backwards once they get near the 30-yard line in for the Bears, and go back to early in the game where the Demon Knights had it first down and goal, and they ended up getting an interception on that play, and that really was the turning point of this game. Got the Bears kind of rolling a little bit, and they went in for a score after that to take the lead 7-6, and it's been Bears since.
And for those looking for the team rosters online, those typically are made available over at Hosted Sports. Hosted Sports houses the rosters, standings, and schedules for many different leagues. However, the EFA schedule right now does not reflect the new partnership with the XEFL, and the standings still reflect the Mercenaries as their own team rather than as members of several different teams, as that team instead decided to disband and disperse their players throughout the league.
Heavy pressure on Caballero. A late flag coming down. Ball's at the 45-yard line, gain of 3 on the play. Now the flags are in the backfield, and Caballero might have been hit late, or there might have been a holding call against the Demon Knights. We'll see what this call is, but we'll see if we can spot what happens here. I think it will be a hold against the Demon Knights. We'll see.
Well, that flag came flying in from down the field. The line of scrimmage was back around the 40, and it is a flag against the Bears in the secondary.
Yeah, face mask penalty, which I didn't pick up at all, but
that's a big boost for Empire State offensively, and they need it right now. As time is their enemy at this point, trailing by 2 scores in the fourth quarter.
Right, and it will be a 15-yard penalty, so it'll put the ball instantly on the Bears' side of the field, the 40-yard line. So it comes at the end of that play, so that yardage will count. That was gained on the previous play. 1st and 10 at the 40 now.
1st and 10, Demon Knights at the Bears' 40-yard line.
Bears came in with a pretty heavy rush that last play. Once again, they bring 5 in up front. More players coming in.
Yeah, look at that. Box is stacked right now.
Now they peel away. Caballero with the long count. Immediate pressure. Caballero has nowhere to go. He's finished off by Deshaun Frazier after bouncing into one of his own linemen. That was a jailbreak from the start.
Williams and Frazier both jumped the snap, and it's almost as if they knew the snap count because they were across the line of scrimmage the instant that Empire State snapped the football. Look at this jump, and maybe it was a little bit early, perhaps, but nonetheless a great job by the Bears defensive line as Caballero was sacked, and he's done a good job avoiding sacks throughout this game. Certainly could have been sacked far more officially. However, he has been under heavy pressure for all of the second half, and that has shown on the scoreboard as this offense has yet to score a second time after an opening drive touchdown.
Yeah, and really A.J. Ray has been completely silenced since the first half when he had a big first half to start this one. 2nd down and 16. Out of the shotgun. And that one is undercut and intercepted. And going the other way with it is Uriah Clark, and he is finally toppled down at about the 30. Good tackle by Richards to prevent the score. But the heavy pressure leads to another interception. That's another turnover for the Demon Knights, and the Bears have now taken complete control.
And that was a great effort by Richards to get back and make the tackle on that interception. I didn't even see him because he was so close to the near side. I had to look over the window pane to find him closing in there at the end of that play. When that ball was intercepted, I thought Clark was gone. And a great effort by Richards to make sure that didn't happen.
Yeah, and it's just, to me, that's not so much a bad throw as it is just a product of the pressure, Joe. Caballero is basically taking the ball in his hands via the shotgun, and before he even can bring the ball back to his ear hole to look for a would-be receiver, there's 2 or 3 black jerseys on top of him. Now, we do have some penalties after the play, unsportsmanlike, on the Demon Knights. So tack on some more yardage potentially. Yes, indeed. They'll be inside the red zone here at the 19.
There were 2 separate personal fouls against Empire State at the conclusion of that play, and you can see the frustration boiling over for them as their offense has been silenced since the first quarter. And even though they haven't scored any points, they've done a lot of things really well. Despite that, it just hasn't translated on the scoreboard.
There's the throw in the flat, just a little bit too much ahead of Charter. That'll be incomplete, 2nd down and 10.
Well, if you're the Bears here, a score of any kind would put this game away. They already lead by 15, so any points here would make it a 3-possession game. Time running out in this 4th quarter. Empire State was gifted 15 yards on the personal foul to open that last drive, but in this second half especially, they just haven't been able to protect their quarterback, who played well in the first half.
Yes, he did.
Rodriguez in the shotgun on
2nd down and 10. Rodriguez in the spread, gives underneath, and a lot of running room for Ridley, and he is closing in on the goal line and is taken down at about the 3-yard line. Actually, that was Shane Barker on the play.
That will set up the Bears at the 4. Here's a second look at it as Barker takes that right up the middle. Nice cut, utilizing his blockers from the guard positions, and Bears offensive line has blocked very nicely in the second half.
Absolutely, and Joe, for all the players we mentioned at the talent positions, the offensive line and the defensive line still wins a lot of games on any level of football, and you could just see the Bears kind of winning that battle here. And this is to Ridley. Ridley, right side. Is he in? Is it enough to get in? The line judge coming in, and it looks like just short. Now we have whistles here, and we'll see what these whistles are for. Looks like there may have been an official timeout down on the field. Not sure if it
is to discuss whether or not Ridley broke the plane or if perhaps there was a penalty on the play.
Well,
We'll find out in just a moment.
Keep our attention with the official in the white hat. Trying to listen in, but I couldn't really pick that up at all. Something against the Demon Knights. Maybe a substitution penalty, not sure. Couldn't hear it, but we'll see what the down marker says. Looks like it still says first down. Too many men is the call. Thank you for that, Nick.
Well, this is the final stand for this Empire State defense. If the Bears get in here, this game is effectively out of reach.
Yeah, I see the penalty flag all the way in the back of the end zone. There's the official getting it.
Second down and goal now for the Bears.
And we have whistles here before Rodriguez can do anything with this one. As
looks like the Demon Knights are going to take a
timeout called by the Demon Knights. So the Demon Knights will take their second timeout.
For Empire State here, they need a stop to stay in this game, but even if they get one, the Bears have done a pretty good job keeping the clock moving on this drive. They've run the ball effectively and getting started deep in Empire State territory, have marched it down to the goal line. And they're just a yard away from putting this game out of reach. And as we mentioned before, looking ahead to week 2, Bears will host the New York Legion in the Legion season opener. The Bears did not lose a game to any team last season that did not appear in the EFA championship. So they were unbeaten, 5-0 combined against the 3 returning teams. And they will look to make it potentially 7-0 in their last 7 against those teams next week against the Legion, should they hold on here tonight against Empire State.
Yeah, and they seem to have been on their way to exercising those demons against the Pharaohs in the semifinals. Had a 6-0 lead before giving up a special teams touchdown with the clock running down. The Kiri Mims. There's a pass in the back of the end zone, and the touchdown grab is made.
And that will put this one out of reach for Empire State in the closing minutes. Bears with a 3-score lead, as once again, Moyer Jr. on the receiving end of a completed pass. They've gotten him a bit more involved on this drive, and that will make it a 21-point New York lead as that play works to perfection. The defensive back, with eyes in the backfield, lost track of the receiver in the corner, and that throw was right on target from Rodriguez, who after a couple of early misfires has been on target with just about every pass attempt since.
Yeah, Moyer with the touchdown grab. And obviously his first touchdown of the evening gives the Bears a 21-point lead. Great fade route there in the back of the end zone. And like you said, Rodriguez put it in the perfect spot. There is the extra point blocked. So Hunter with the first failed extra point attempt. Flags come out at the end of this play. Now more flags, and now we got some pushing and shoving going on, but both teams looking to unfurl.
Well,
that was a live ball, but taken down.
Either that was the best jump of a snap we've seen all night, where Empire State was offsides.
Now we caught right as they were snapping the ball, but they were right on top of Hunter. They've come close to blocking a few.
Let's wind that one back a bit. It is possible to go back to the replay section, and as they sort out this penalty, we'll get a look at a bit more of that last play. Just wind it back a little bit more. You have to go to the slider there and move it to the left.
Yeah, we'll see if we can get a better look at the jump here as they continue to talk about this one. It looks like a running start, but they might not have broken the line of scrimmage plane. They just timed it right.
They have a much better angle than we do up here in the booth, down on the field officiating the game. From our angle, I thought for sure that the defensive player was offsides, but our perspective a bit skewed. We're to the right of the 50-yard line, So the action near the opposite end zone is far closer to us than the action at the other end of the field.
Right.
Still don't know what the flag was for.
Well,
it was likely a personal foul after the conclusion of the play.
I think we're going to find out. Trying to listen in here, but it is against the Demon Knights.
I think there were multiple personal fouls against Empire State again.
And, you know, it's unfortunate, Joe, because the wheels have fallen off a little bit on this Demon Knights team, but this was a 7-6 game at halftime. 1 score apiece, the difference being the extra point. And the Bears have just taken complete control here. And let's not forget, the Demon Knights were down 7-6 at the half, got the ball first in the second half, were driving really well. I believe they had a 1st and 5 at the 25-yard line of the Bears. And then they had a couple of mistimed plays, a big penalty. And from there, it's just been all Bears.
These two teams moving in very opposite directions throughout this game. I'll elaborate after this return.
And the reverse on the kickoff as Lopez slipped and fell at about the 15-yard line to end that one.
But as I was saying, these two teams have been moving in two completely opposite directions since the start of this game. Empire State forced a 3-and-out to open the game, scored on their opening drive, and they haven't scored since and have had more and more trouble slowing down this Bears offense. As for New York, they got started with the 3-and-out on offense and didn't score until the second quarter, but their offense has continued to pick up momentum and put points on the board more easily as the game has gone on. For Empire State, yards on offense have been tougher to come by, as have stops, and their only stop on the last 4 New York drives came on the last drive of the first half, and that was a 3-play drive where the Bears ran the ball 3 times, and that last one almost went for a touchdown to close out the first half. But Empire State will look to build upon what they did early in this game, and the Bears will hope for much more of the same as what we saw here tonight in Week 2 against the Legion next weekend.
Yep, we've said it before, but it's an 8-game regular season for both of these teams where potentially every EFA team could still make the playoffs. And we'll talk about that as we sort out this flag, as this play gets whistled dead. But, Joe, that's something also that's unique to the EFA. They will not make a determination as to how many teams make the playoffs until about midseason. And they do that to recognize the competitive level of the league. And if they feel that all 4 teams have a legitimate shot at, you know, scoring an upset or raising that trophy, they will have all 4 teams make the playoffs. There could be 3 teams that make the playoffs, with the first seed getting a bye and having the 2 and 3 battle to see who faces the 1, or it could be just the top 2 teams at the end. So that's something that's unique of this league, and it's something that we'll know a lot more about once we roll into midseason.
And I think not knowing with certainty what the playoff format will be gives each of these teams a much greater sense of urgency in these early season games, because you only get 5 games against your fellow EFA teams. You have to make the most of those.
Right. And if you're the Demon Knights, at least you know that you'll get the Bears on your home field later this year as well. They look middle of the field, and that one is high, and we're going to have a late flag come in. Looks like it was against Huffin, who may have interfered with Sawicki. Looked like Caballero was unsure of which wide receiver should he go up top to Ray's direction or underneath to Sawicki. And he kind of dropped it in between the 2.
And every decision that Caballero has had to make from the pocket in the second half has come under pressure. He has had very few clean looks to make reads and to get the ball out without at least 1 defender, in most cases 2, bearing down on him.
Procedural penalty against the Bears will make it a 1st down and 5.
The penalty is going to be against the Bears. It's a 5-yard penalty.
And again, we have not seen A.J. Ray make a reception, I believe, since the early stages of the second quarter. He had to leave the game for a spell, came back in. But the Demon Knights passing game has really been rather non-existent, and the reason why is because of the relentless pressure that the Bears have been applying, and many times it's just their front four. Revanche has been tremendous. Deshaun Frazier has been good right in the middle. And they continue to get home. They work in the flat to Ray. Speak of the devil, he tries to make one man miss and is held up at about the 15-yard line. Might have gotten a yard or two. It's going to be about 2nd down and 8 coming up. Now we do have another whistle, and could this be closing in on the 2-minute mark?
I do believe it's going to be the 2-minute warning, but I think for Empire State, they're going to be very fortunate they have a week off next week because they're going to be wearing this one. They've taken a lot of big hits, and it's been a very rough second half in terms of physicality for them, especially their quarterback. And we do believe that was the 2-minute warning.
Yeah, I've been staring at the official in the white hat. I did not get an official call, although the whistles were certainly out and multiple officials were ensure that it was an official timeout on the field. So we can infer, but not quite sure. Either way, Demon Knights looking for something to hang their hat on here in the late stages of the fourth, down by 21 in a game where they led 6-0 early. Shotgun formation, 2nd down and 8. Pump fake, and now the look underneath, and that one was underthrown.
Caballero again under immense pressure and had a man open, streaking up that far sideline, but just didn't have any time to set his feet, get square, and deliver, though we did have a penalty against the Bears, and now we have the signal for the 2-minute warning.
All right, so that was it. That was the play before the 2-minute warning, and oh my goodness, Caballero got hit hard at the end of that play. We lost it in the screen as we were motioning towards the receiver, but yeah, he was swallowed up by a couple of guys. And Caballero, we saw him play some quarterback early in the season last year for the Demon Knights. Of course, usually lives in the middle of that defense as the middle linebacker. We saw him play some offensive line last year as well for the Demon Knights. Talk about multi-dimensional.
He's done it all for this team. Last year had 36 tackles, 8 for a loss. Had an interception that went for a touchdown, albeit on a lateral.
And that's incomplete as they were looking to set up the screen to Lopez.
Broken up by DeJuan Williams, and it is going to be 3rd down now. So 3rd down.
Now, the way the second half has gone with the amount of hits that Caballero has taken, and obviously the score being what it is now with the Bears leading by 21, are you a bit surprised Empire State's still passing?
I'm not, Joe, only in the sense that it is week 1 and you do need to figure out who you are and what you want to be, and you want to be able to string something together. You don't play again for 2 weeks. Again, you have some time, some downtime, but I think you just want to get something positive going here.
I think the week off certainly helps.
I think so, too. We know why they play on Saturday, Joe, because Sunday you recoup. Ice bats for everyone.
So 3rd down now for the Demon Knights at their own 13-yard line.
Once again out of the shotgun. Good pressure, and now the throw deep. Nobody home in the direction of Ray, but there were 3 black jerseys in the vicinity. Closest one there, Isaiah Berrios-Smith. And it will be 4th down.
Well, the Bears have not allowed him. Bears have not allowed Ray to go single covered in the second half. Now, we received word that we need to take a look at that replay
and
from next door.
And check out number 7. So, believe
for the Demon Knights, that would be Lopez.
Ty Lopez. We'll see if we can get it up, and it looks like we will. So let's see. Ty Lopez.
So I think the play was go route, and there was no pass rush.
Right.
The Bears dropped back, but it was a good catch next door.
So on 4th down and about 4 or 5, we will see what the Demon Knights can cook up here. Lopez is in the backfield with Caballero. Body language not good. And the throw is screen pass incomplete. And that'll do it for the Demon Knights as they turn the ball over on downs. The Bears, at this point, can line up in victory formation, Joe. I tried this last year on opening weekend.
Will they?
And
I don't know about
and
that.
I called victory formation. I was denied. Let's see what happens this time.
Now, I think last year the Bears were on the other side of the result. The Pharaohs had the lead late, and we both presumed that victory formation was incoming, and instead the Pharaohs tried to air it out down the field and pad those points per game numbers. So we'll see if the Bears take that opportunity in this spot.
Now, the clock has been stopped on the last few plays, but we've had the 2-minute warning. We are under the impression that there are maybe a minute 40 left in this game. So ESDK only has the one timeout. We doubt they'll take it. So for the Bears, they can elect to try and punch another score in, or they can basically take a knee, call this one a game, get out of here with a 1-0 record, and get ready for the Legion in 7 days. Now, I should mention, Joe, that we will be here next week. PDF Sports Network will be with you here. We'll try to get on about a half hour before kickoff and take you through a pregame show and get you caught up on what you may have missed during the week between these teams and the league. And then we'll get you ready for Legion and Bears right here once again. We thank you for joining us on the PDF Sports Network, your home for the EFA all season long. Rodriguez will go back to pass, and he looks in the flat and taking a hit and going all the way in with it. And it looks like it was Angel Ortiz. Now, there was a helmet that came off, Joe, and potentially the play is dead when that happens.
That's what I was thinking, Dave.
Right, and you were giving me that motion, but I saw the officials giving the signal for touchdown. But check it out. And that one, and it actually was number 21, Kenneth Charter, on the reception. I thought it was number 81. Maybe we'll see that one again, Andrew, when you can punch that one up.
Now, I know Charter got some reps at running back last year, but that did look like an 81.
I thought it was an 81, and I had said Angel Ortiz, but then the official, it looks like an 81 to me.
It might be a wrinkled number. It's so hard to tell. That looks like an 8, Dave. Oh, that's an 8.
That's an 8. So that is Angel Ortiz, so we apologize, Angel, for taking that touchdown away from you. Meanwhile, there's still deliberations going on. The score is 33-6 that we have it, but we might have to take 6 points off the board because I think you're right, Joe. As soon as that helmet comes off, the play is dead for the safety and best interest of the player, obviously.
Yeah, so once the helmet comes off, the play is dead.
So I believe that the first down was picked up, although they do have the ball. They haven't spotted the ball yet. That's the problem.
They're trying to figure it out.
Right. As are we. But right now there's an invisible ball on the field, and the Bears are going towards it. And now it gets set down.
Click in the right stick. You can respot the ball.
At about the 8-yard line, maybe the 7-8 yard line. So this is going to be a first down. First and goal for the Bears. Time winding down. We believe maybe a hair over a minute. They'll start to wind the clock. Rodriguez, now a flag, offside, offense.
Well, the last 2 minutes of each half, Dave, have dragged on for an eternity.
Right.
We saw it at the end of the first half, and now here at the end of the game, the Bears are determined to score again, and they are in prime position with a first and goal. But
well, you said, why are the Demon Knights still passing down by 21 points and not running out the clock? Well, why are the Bears not?
Well, I get why the Demon Knights were passing, but
timeout called by the Bears.
I think the physicality of the game was the reason not to pass more so than the score.
Right.
The Bears, I don't think there was much doubt they were going to try and score.
Yeah.
We said they could go into victory formation, not they would.
Right, right. Well, at this point, we kind of, are tongue-in-cheek about that at this point because we know conditionally that formation just really hasn't existed in anything that we've seen here on the PDF Sports Network. And in fairness, this is the first game for the Bears as well. There's still plenty of things I'm sure they want to work on and they want to wrinkle out, and they want to close this game with a lopsided score. Getting ready for the Legion, and with the Legion coaching staff here, saw Coach George earlier. Of course, trying to send a message that way as well.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Dave. Something we spoke about during the pregame is that both of these teams would have an opportunity to send a message in week one, and I think it's fair to say the Bears have done that, especially given how this game started.
Right.
It was a back-and-forth first half, 7-6 at halftime.
Heavy pressure now for Rodriguez, and that one looked wounded coming out of his hand, and it was very nearly intercepted and brought back the other way by Fisher. Right at the goal line, and that had potential to maybe go the other way. And I'll tell you what, now we have flags coming down as in the middle of a Demon Knights huddle. But, you know, Joe, the other part of this, too, is all kidding aside, Rodriguez took a pretty good whack on that play, and his arm took a hit, too. That's why the ball looked wounded coming out of his hand. So that's a risk you take, too, in these positions where we have offsetting penalties now.
Well, the Bears don't have off next week, so
right.
They need to be a bit more careful than Empire State needed to be. And there's no doubt if that ball is brought in by Fisher, that's 6 points the other way. Hit him in stride.
Motion and a flag, or a timeout. It's a timeout called by the Demon Knights. So that's their final timeout.
Scoreboard operator, please report to the announcer's booth. Will the scoreboard operator please report to the announcer's booth?
Well, they're asking for some help now.
Right, the scoreboard reads Bears up by that score. They never took that touchdown off the board. And so we have the correct score, 27-6.
Operator, please report to the announcer's
So
booth.
the
hunt for the scoreboard operator is on, Dave.
Correct. Well, the scoreboard here at the facility says 33-6. We know that's not the case. 27-6 here. Right now, the only thing in question is how much time is left on this clock and how fast can they count it down. Both of these teams, Demon Knights just called a timeout. And I think part of that timeout, Joe, is really the insistence on making sure the Bears don't get in here. You know, now it's just about pride on the line and really ending this game the correct way. The Bears, Demon Knights really couldn't do anything offensively. Let's see if they could do it defensively and shut them down. Patio is not in the game at this point. Many of the reserves have come in. That pass, middle of the end zone, touchdown. That one will count and put that 6 points back up on the board. Khalil Daughtry with the touchdown. And now it's 33-6.
And that will put an exclamation point on this one, Dave. No need for the scoreboard operator anymore. The score here at the venue is now correct once again, 33-6 in favor of the Bears. And that's definitely a rub route down around the goal line. A lot of traffic inside of those left hash marks, but Bears executing well in the red zone once again. That's been a constant here in the second half. And they jump out to a 27-point lead. Looks like they are going to kick for one once again in this spot. It's been a good night for Hunter on extra points. Look to make it 4 out of 5.
That's right. He's connected on every one that's had the ability to get to the uprights, had one blocked, and now both teams are going to their respective benches, Joe, and this game could be over. We'll await for the official signal, but I believe they're going to line it up, and 33-6 is going to be our final score. Indeed, Joe, that is it. So no extra point. The Bears put an exclamation point on this game. Instead, they outscore the Demon Knights 26-0 in the second half. And your final score, the Bears 33 and ESDK 6.
Well, we said it many times already, Dave. If you're Empire State, you have to love what you saw for much of that first half. Early in the game, their offense marched straight down the field. They scored on their opening drive. They forced a 3-and-out. They got the ball back with a chance to make it a 2-score game. They had goal to go down around the end zone. Penalties backed them up. Ultimately, they did not score. The Bears took the lead, and from there, it was all New York. The Bears' offense got progressively stronger as the game went on. Their defense got stronger as the game went on. And for Empire State, they could not maintain that solid play on both sides of the ball that we saw in the first half. They really struggled to protect their quarterback in half number 2. It showed on the scoreboard, but there was still plenty to like from this Empire State team. If they can take what they did in the first half into their Week 3 matchup with the Bandits and replicate that, you have to think that puts them in a very good position.
Absolutely, Joe. Final thoughts coming out of this one. We thought these two teams would be the top 2 teams of the EFA, or at least the presumed favorites. The score indicates a huge lopsided issue here. Is that score indicative of the matchup between these two teams?
I think it's certainly indicative of the second half. The first half was far closer, and the scoreboard reflected that. I think the scoreboard is a pretty accurate representation of how this game went, given the score in the first half and the score in the second half. First half, 7-6. I think that's a very fair representation of what we saw in half number 1. In half number 2, the Bears scored 26 unanswered points, win big. They were dominant in the second half. They got it done on both sides of the ball, and the scoreboard reflected that. If you're Empire State, take what you did well in half number 1 into Week 3. If you're the Bears, keep rolling. Take what you did in the second half here in Week 1 into your Week 2 matchup against the Legion, looking to get off to a 2-0 start. They appear to be in a good position to do that. The Legion will hope to have something to say about that in their season debut next week.
It's an 8-game regular season. These two teams will face off twice. Round 1, a resounding win for the New York Bears. They will meet again later in the season at Granny Road in Long Island. Demon Knights will be home for that one. For everybody affiliated here with the PDF Sports Network, we want to thank our camera operator, Nick Bavona, our engineer, Andrew Rotundo, everybody here at Torn Valley, and of course in the New York Bears organization for welcoming us here into their booth and on their field. For Joe Foreman, I'm David Pizzuto, wishing you a great night. Thank you for joining us on your home for the Elite Football Alliance. This is the PDF Sports Network.